Show with Irish. Show with Irish. Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison! I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship! That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing! Doing a damn thing! The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Irish! Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Oh, Irish! Irish! Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks, to an Always Irish After Dark. It is indeed football's most unpredictable show because where it's going to go, neither you or I know. Happy to be here. Happy to have you here on a Saturday night special. We're going to test this out. I got a couple different avenues I'm going to go. And I'm just going to cut loose on the phones. We got a lot of people that want to call. And I got a feeling some of them may have been at the bar earlier or made their own bar at home. I don't know. I'm just happy to be here. Happy to talk some Notre Dame with you guys. So thanks for making it a part of your weekend. I appreciate it very much. So here's the thing. We're going to try and have a little fun. We're going to talk about some serious stuff, but then I got a couple questions I got to ask you that are on the lighter side, and I want to do that. Oh, thank you for people that noticed the introduction. Why not? We're going into a Saturday night show. I gotta do a little something different, a little something fun. So it was a nice touch. People are saying they love the background. Certain people are giving me a hard time because the green screen is blending in a little bit. Get over it. It's good enough. It looks like I'm recording this from a fancy office in the top of Touchdown Jesus, looking down on Notre Dame Stadium. It's a good Saturday night feel, and it's the real deal. So thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Stylite says it's lazy. Well, then I'll tell you, you should have been the one to give me something better and make sure it fit. Oh, boy, I don't know how this is going to go. Look at these people on the call-in line. I know at least one or two of them have been drinking. All right, let's get into this. I'm going to go over a couple of serious things I want to go over. We're going to do a roll call. A couple people have donated. And then we're going to let it rip and open it up for the chatters, okay? On the phone, we're going to see what you think here. What did I do? I starred a couple things. Let me get through my introduction. We'll hit those super chats. Obviously, you can find the program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on. You and I both know why. That way you're alerted every time a new episode drops. You don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar, Always Irish Rat. Always Irishing. Emails, alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want me. You can get me to call in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Hit it up. Fighting Irish Wire, USA Today, Fighting Irish Wire. You type them words in the Google box. Boom! A whole bunch of Notre Dame information's come out. I write stories. Yeah, I know. Hard to believe some of you could think that I could actually write a story. I write stories. Other people write stories all about Notre Dame football. It's a beautiful thing. Go check it out every day. We got stuff, the draft, whatever you want to talk about, we got it. What do I got coming up this week on Irish Wire? I got one article about Notre Dame and NBC's negotiations. If anybody has any thoughts on that, feel free to opine this evening on the Notre Dame NBC deal. I got an article on that. And then I also have an article of how Notre Dame can navigate its recent personnel losses all the way from Reese to Buck to Diggs to Lorenzo, all of them. And I go over how Notre Dame can make this all work and a different way to look at it. Stay tuned for that. Okay. So Let's do the roll call. I got to hit a couple of these super chatters, and then we're going to get into this. Before I do, let me give you one thing I want you guys to think about. Callers, chatters, something I want on your mind. On the lighter side of Notre Dame, it's a Saturday night. Some of you are probably having a couple pops. We're going to talk some serious stuff, but I want to lighten it up too. Here's what I'm going to ask you. Put it in the chat. Call up and tell me. I would love to know. Just curious. As a Notre Dame fan, I want to know, what is your high point moment, the best you felt about Notre Dame? And I want to know your worst Notre Dame fan moment as well. That's my question. And here's where I think this is going to go. Where I think this is going to go is it's going to vary vastly depending on your age. Depending on your age, your answers to this are going to be all over the board. And so I think it's interesting to look at those different segments of the Notre Dame fan base when they were born, and then once they're cognizant, self-developed, what they experienced as a Notre Dame fan. So I'm not going to share mine yet. We'll get to that because I don't want to taint the waters, and I want to see what you guys think. So 312-900-8815. We're open to that. Anything else you want to call in on a Saturday night's fine with me. Open forum. Special invite. Newt Rockney in the chats. Special invite. Uncle Luke. I don't know if he's here yet or if he's going to be here or whatever. Those two. Open phone lines. Jump the line. Let me know your area code in the chat. You come right up. Everybody wants to know who hurt you and why you are so sad and mad about everything Notre Dame land. You want to call and rip me for being a sunshine guy who never questions Freeman, whatever you want to do. You want to call me and yell about Pat by proxy, whatever you want to do. But the phone lines, especially on a Saturday night, are open to those two. They got to love Notre Dame. They don't miss any show I do, but it's negative on negative on negative on negative. It's like me in the Kelly era. There ain't a damn thing good coming out of it. I just want to know what the deal is. Call me. I'm a nice guy to talk to. Well, not really, but I'm good enough to talk to. I do it enough. You should know how I interact. Give me a call. Don't just sit there and type trolly stuff in the thing. Call me. 312-900-8815. Tell me why you're so hurt and mean. I like rhyming. Orange and Kleenex are the only two things I've never figured out how to rhyme. I love rhyming. Orange and Kleenex. You could get there if you change other words, but orange and Kleenex are the only two I don't have clean rhymes for in my life. It's bugged me for like 30 years. I try and rhyme everything. It's good for your brain. It's a good brain exercise. All right, I see a bunch of super chats. Callers, you're going to have to wait. I got to be honorable here. Do the roll call. Hit the people that donated. And then we'll see what these callers got. And a couple of my little things I wanted to go over too. Let's see what we got cooking. Oh, man. All right. First, let's see. All right, we're doing super chats first. People that donate get it first. Where are we? Here we go. Rudy, good to see you, Rudy. Really good to see you, Rudy. Always good. They got Dairy Queen for the kids. That's fantastic. They're on Dairy Queen. A lot of other people, I don't think they're on the dairy. They're on something else tonight. All right. I'm scrolling to the chats. Andrew, my brother's here. Good to see you. Look at this. It's a $5 holler. Good evening, John. God forbid the Irish go 9-3 next year. How hot is Freeman's seat? Something to mull over, which I'm open to discuss in the next chat. Cheers. If he goes 9-3 next year, there's no heat on his seat whatsoever in any way. You could disagree with that. I'm not telling you that's right or wrong. I believe the guy signed a 6-year deal. 9-3 would not be considered a disaster in the administration's eyes. Notice that I'm being careful about how I say this, okay? And so 9-3 would not be a disaster of any type, even if he goes 6-6. It's way too early, and there's no hot seat. Unless I'm wrong, somebody tell me. I think it was a 6-year deal he inked. But 9-3, the administration in year 2, they're not going to flinch at 9-3. Look at some of the garbage they've allowed to happen a lot longer than that for a lot worse than 9-3. Fans want more than 9-3. I admit that. But as far as the administration and an actual hot seat, nowhere even close to that. You're 3 years away from that even being a discussion, barring an off-field catastrophe, something like that. And Freeman, that's not his deal. I don't have that concern with him. But it's going to take a lot more than 9-3, a lot more years to get any hot seat. That's how I see it. I'm not telling you to be happy with 9-3. I'm telling you, the administration, there isn't going to be a hot seat over that. Phil, hey, good to see you. Adam Dowling, good to see you. Phil, what did you say? Phil said something. Nick Dean, good to see you as well. I hope your wife's with you. Lovely lady. Tell her I said hi. I'm pretty sure Phil said he left his wife at a bar to go home and watch this. And by the way, I love Phil's wife. She came to the Blue and Gold tailgate, dropped a fat bottle of Fireball right there at like 10 in the morning. She walked right up. Is this the Always Irish tailgate? Boom. She put that Fireball down and we were off to the races all day. And so, Phil, I appreciate your dedication to the cause here, but I don't know if you should leave your lady at the bar. And I definitely don't expect her to want to come home and watch this with you, but I appreciate your loyalty. Oh, man. All right, let's go. Jay Lehman, good to see you. I'm glad people appreciate the new intro. I figured it's kind of a missed opportunity for me to kind of have the personality I have and not use it a little more. And I realize that could scare some people off, but we're 7 or 8 years down this road. It's too late. Put whatever this is back in the bottle. Like, that's just never going to be possible. So you're getting what you're going to get. Jay Lehman, good to see you. Craig, good to see you. Greg, what's going on, Greg? It's been a while. Angela says she loves the shirt. A lot of people at the Blue and Gold tailgate mentioned that they really liked my Bush Push documentary episode I did. And I pulled it off YouTube when I ran into some issues with YouTube monetization, and they didn't like a couple of the clips I had in that, whatever. So I had to pull it down. I'll do something else with it later. And a few people mentioned they really liked that. And how I pulled in my friend Tyler's memory and all that, who I lost after a Blue and Gold game, 2009, I think. That night after the Blue and Gold game, we lost him. Anyways, this is his jersey. And years after he passed away, his parents cleaned out his room or whatever. And they had a box of Notre Dame stuff. And they said, John, we all talked as a family. We want you to have Tyler's Notre Dame stuff. This vintage jersey is one of the things I got that he wore all the time. And I'm proud to wear it now. So a couple people mentioned the jersey vintage. And this is Tyler's. Happy to wear it. And he'd be proud of me doing something like this. So that's the story with the jersey. Andrew Gilmore, look at this, $5 holler for the nice intro. I appreciate that. Man, you get sick of looking at yourself. When you're trying to edit some of this stuff, it just gets tiresome. You're like, dude, I don't want to look at my voice or see my face anymore. But I'm glad I was able to get that done. Oh, man. There we go. Domer88. I just put the kids to bed. I'm ready, baby. I'll try. Keep the volume low because you know how I tend to get. Could be dangerous. Jacob, thanks for the comment on the background. I appreciate that. Oh, look at this. Newt Rockney saying NBC's canceling Notre Dame's contract. So what? Who cares? Who cares? I feel like we're a second-class citizen talking about, oh, no, NBC doesn't want us now. Oh, my God, who are we going to get to announce? We got a star announcer's kid announcing our games. NBC does not take Notre Dame seriously. Oh, what's that? An actual home game? Better go to the app. Watch the little pinwheel spin. Watch the little peacock. I wouldn't care at all. I'm ready to see something new. I'm ready for a new energy in that booth. I'm ready for a different energetic production. I'm ready for that. And you know what else I'm going to admit? I got to admit this. This is weird. I saw this today on Twitter, and it made me pause. Penn State and somebody else. I don't know who it is, but NBC has that deal with the Big Ten for some games now. And I saw an advertisement on Twitter for NBC promoting college football, but not Notre Dame. I scrolled through and I stopped and I was like, whoa, man, this doesn't look right. It's just a new world. If NBC doesn't want to play ball, and if NBC says you're making $22 million a year now, you're asking for 75, let's meet you in the middle. Nope, we can't do that. Notre Dame can't afford to meet you in the middle. Notre Dame, whatever iteration of the next TV deal Notre Dame's in, it has to be financially in the ballpark of what, say, the Big Ten deal is going to be. About $90 million a year payout, even for Rutgers. I lost my mind about that the other day. They're looking at around $90 a year per team, no matter how good or bad you are. Notre Dame doesn't have to be at that level, but they got to be in the ballpark. That is mission number one. They got to be in the ballpark. So I don't care what channel it is. Okay? Half of the last years, you could have put Notre Dame on Comedy Central and it would have been a good fit. I don't care what channel it is. Give me a production that makes me feel like Notre Dame's playing and it's a big deal. It's a big deal. I couldn't even hear Collinsworth's voice announcing some of the plays. It's that low key. There's no balls in that booth. There's nothing. There is not one thing about the NBC presentation of Notre Dame that makes me feel like something big is going to happen. Isn't that the point of your exclusive TV partner? If you are it and it's you and them, is it their job to build you up and make everything seem bigger than it is? Make your home game seem like a bigger deal than they are? You don't get none of that. You don't get none of that. So it ain't going to bother me if NBC doesn't want to go play ball. Somebody's going to play ball with Notre Dame. And I don't care the channel. I don't care the channel. Make sure that number keeps us competitive. That's all I ask. 75, close enough to 90. I can make that work. But if you're getting into where it's half as much as Rutgers makes a year, Notre Dame's going to fall so far behind in infrastructure, what they can pay for, salaries for better assistants, training table, a new building. Notre Dame can't be 40 million behind this year, and then it's 80 the next year, and 120, and it all piles up. Before you know it, you're behind and you're never getting caught up. That's my number one priority. I do not care about NBC. They treat us like we are not important. I'm reacting like they're not important. $5 holler from Greg. I appreciate you, man. Here we go. What's up, John? Wanted to check in on the show before I go on this date tonight with this beautiful lady. Well, congratulations, Greg. Little pre-gaming with Always Irish. What do you want me to give you some smooth talking tips for your date? Look at that smile. You don't need any tips, man. You're going to be Rico Suave walking in the place. Look at that smile. You don't need no help from me. I appreciate you dropping in, though. I really do. Good to see you, Greg. We got Greg right next to Craig. Oh, man. Craig, what a good guy. One of my best friends in real life now. And I only met him through this show. Without Twitter and this show, I never would have met the guy. Now we're real life friends. Adam Dowling, same deal. This is my friend group now. Guys like Craig and Adam, I never knew from Adam. I never knew these guys at all. But we all share this common love, and then we get to know each other, and then we meet up for a drink, and then a tailgate. This is the crew now. This is the crew now. It's a beautiful thing. When we're happy, we can all be happy together. When we're miserable, we'll all be miserable together. It works out beautiful. Adam Dowling, $20 holler. Yeah, sorry Pat's not here to take another $100 dare to chug beer on the air. Really family friendly. BK left Freeman a top 5 roster. Yeah, right. Closing the gap. Yeah, I need to close the gap between my hairline. I'm sick. What drugs are people on when they tell me Kelly left Freeman a top 5 roster? And even if you wanted to go with the intellectual argument of, look where they finished that year, Kelly's last year, like up there, ranked really high, whatever. Even if you wanted to go to that ranking to try and prove that argument, what I'm going to say is, what does it matter what last year's team ended when all those players aren't coming back? It changes everything. It changes everything. Quarterback, for instance. So that argument doesn't make any sense. And Adam, it's on my list of things to talk about, that roster and what we're doing with it. I'm glad you brought it up, Adam. It's on the list. Andrew Gilmore, what's happening, buddy? Oh, man. Look at this. Good evening. Where are we? Texas? Good evening from Austin, Texas. Let's go, John. It's Saturday Night Live. Oh, man. Roger Dodger. John, are you a fiction writer since it's ND? I don't know what you're getting at. I genuinely don't. Dr. John ND instead of MD. ND. John, did you just add that? I like that. That's clever. Good evening, John. The fruit of juniper berry is in use up the mountains from Boise in a cabin outside Cascade, Idaho. Dr. John, man, I'm not trying to be offensive. Age-wise, you could be my grandfather. We both know that. That's kind of our dynamic. Man, you get around so good. You're in Key West. You're out west. You're in the plains. You're out in a blizzard one week. You're in the beach another week. Dr. John, what are you doing? Man, you're traveling. Dr. John's a moving target. It's unbelievable. And I'm impressed. Here's the other thing, Dr. John. I know you're listening. If we do get to the point where there's an Always Irish tailgate for a real game next year, I mean, I'm not telling you what to do with your life, but I would really appreciate it if you were there. I just think that would be a riot. So if we do this for an actual game, I would love it if you could make an effort to come, hook up with your kids that are in Illinois, bring them over for the day, whatever. But me, my whole family, the whole crew wants to meet you. So, Dr. John, we got to stay in touch. We have got to stay in touch. Jay Lehman, what's going on? D-Rock Irish. Uh-oh, there's some drink emojis there. Oh, man. Here's another $5 holler. Not responsible for what the wife says on here. If she makes it home from the bar during this show, that's what I'm talking about. Phil, I'm with you, Phil the Thrill, man. You guys are living exciting lives. Dr. John's all over the place. Phil was at the bar. His wife's at the bar. And I'm in my basement yelling about Notre Dame. Maybe I'm the one doing something wrong. Brian Denbo, good to see you, man. Really good to see you. Look at this $20 holler from Jacob Brown. $20 for the Buckner Bammers to drown their sorrows. We already have a QB, and his name is Sam Heisman. Love you, John. That's a nice little touch there. You guys are really skilled at this because half of the chats and the topic in the donation chats are all things on my list to get to. They're all on my list to get to. So you guys are on it. Jack Sacco, Johnny Sunshine. Yeah, exactly. Like, something's messed up in Notre Dame land, you guys. Something's very messed up in Notre Dame land. I used to be the glass half empty guy with Kelly. Nothing's good enough. This is the best it's going to get. He wins most of the games. The recruiting's okay. It's better than the worst argument of all is it's better than who we had before that was really bad. That is such a bad argument with no standards. Like, it can't just be as long as you're better than the guy before, you're awesome. The guy before could suck and you could be marginally better and not good enough still. So I take issue with that a little bit, but I'm telling you, my role in this fan base, I don't understand. I was the glass half empty, all negative guy on Kelly. And now I get accused all the time of not giving Freeman hard enough time. When all I say day after day is things like, as much as I love your personality, you're not allowed to go 0-2 against USC as Notre Dame's new coach. I say that once a week. So, and we talk about all the areas where Notre Dame's got to get better. Every week I talk about them. Every week I write about them. Whether it's the depth, or whether it's being able to actually land the high-end players in these classes, whether it's asking the administration for a little bit more flexibility with undergraduate transfers so Freeman could be in that game more. Like, we talk about all of that stuff. And here's one thing that does make me positive. The two biggest dire needs in this program last year into the last calendar year: quarterback room, wide receiver room, because they're so important to what wins in college football these days. And we were woefully behind in both of them. And if you look in a year's work, they've done a great job. That quarterback room is going to have some real talent with high-end elite potential on the back end of it. And what Chancey Stuckey's doing with this wide receiver group is very impressive. The recruiting, the development, I like where that is all headed. They're going to have guys to work with, and they're not just bodies. It's not just a guy to have a guy because you need a guy. These are people that can play for you and work with you next year. Jaden Greathouse is going to be needed next year. He's going to be relied upon to make big plays. And the good news is we got a quarterback that can get him the ball. Here we go. Somebody nailed mine. CJ Adler. Worst moment was the Bush push game. The irony in that is that was one of the best weekends of my life till the last 3 seconds of that game. It was absolutely magical. It had everything I could want out of being on that campus Friday and Saturday. Everything went right, and the last 3 seconds ruined it all. And I say this every time it comes up, and I swear it's true. I changed that night forever. A part of my innocent Notre Dame soul left that night, and it never came back. And I've been changed forever after that moment. It was a big deal whether you were there or watched it on TV, but to be there and feel it, and to be running down to go on the field thinking we won, and then they put time back on the clock and push everybody back, only for the Bush push. It was like slow motion. It was so surreal. But the whole scene of it, thinking the game was over, the clock ran out, running out there, everybody went nuts, only to have it all snatched away. That's what hurt. If the Bush push, forget the part of them trying to call timeout when they didn't have any. Forget the part that it was illegal to push then and they did it. Forget all that. If the exact same sequence happened, but without the clock running out and it said all zeros and we won and the crowd went nuts and everybody rushed the field, it wouldn't have hit me as bad. But what hurt me the most was there was a few seconds there where I had that joy. There was a few seconds there where I thought we actually did it. And I experienced that joy of taking down the evil empire of Pete Carroll and Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart and Lendell White and Dwayne Jarrett and Snoop Dogg on the sideline. All of it. Snoop flying in, Will Ferrell, all the celebrity, all of it that it was. And I thought we had it. That's what hurt me the most. I thought we had it. And I allowed myself to let that soak in that moment, only to have it snatched away. And then we were right there for it on the goal line, and it was all over. My soul changed, and I'm never going to be the same after that. It changed me. It changed me as a person. I'm sorry. It was just one of those seminal moments. And then I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my plus side one. That's the worst I felt was that moment. I say this and I mean it. I drove home back that night after the game. I have zero recollection of driving home whatsoever. I was totally zombied out of my mind. I wasn't even drinking or nothing. I was way too nervous to tell. There was none of that. It was just so, it was overwhelming. I don't even remember driving home, but I ended up home. It was wild. I'll never be the same. Where is Pat? He's a good dude. No, Pat is not at rehab. Pat had to travel for work. So he is fine. This isn't like he's grounded from the show. Pat is traveling from work. Believe it or not, he's actually, you believe it. You know the guy's smart. And I don't know where he is, but he's traveling for work somewhere. He'll rejoin us maybe next week. Oh, man. All right. I don't want to make the callers wait too long. Let's make sure I get caught up with the super chats. Then we'll do the callers. $5 holler again. Block Newt. What's he saying? Oh, there's Cousin Luke. Cousin Luke and Newt. 312-900-8815. Just call me. It doesn't have to be contentious. I would just like to talk to you guys and get a feel of where you're coming from. It doesn't have to be like a big, like a debate or nothing. People just want to hear from you guys because you're here every day, which tells all of us you do care about Notre Dame, but everything you say is negative about Notre Dame. So it just doesn't always add up. Everything's on the downside. Freeman's on the downside. Like, it's all bad. The recruiting's bad. We're going 5-7 this year. It's just all bad. It's just all bad, and I don't like it. I feel bad. Who hurt you other than Notre Dame football? I can relate with that one. Hurts me too. Yeah, look at this. Jack says, John, I got a call from NBC. They want you in the booth this season. Number one is, it wouldn't surprise me at all if Jack got a phone call from NBC, because that's the level Jack's at in that kind of business. And Jack knows all the right kind of people. So Hollywood Jack over here, literally, I don't take for granted that he might actually be in contact with NBC. They want me in the booth. Here's what I'll say. Play-by-play announcing, there's no chance. I'm way too emotional. I want to be the PA guy at Notre Dame Stadium. That's what I want to do. And I'll have rhymes for everything. I'll know when to say what with what inflection, make it echo around, rattle around in the stadium. I'm just telling you, before they do the the introduction, how about that's right? Here come your Fighting Irish. I'll come up with all sorts of stuff. I'll juice up the pipes. They'll be good to go. Play-by-play, color, no way. No, there's no way. I'm too emotional in the moment. It would never work. Way too emotional in the moment. Look at this. Huffer Billy Paw. It has been a while since I've seen you. Loyal Clemson guy. I believe a Pigskin Pete guy who's one of my close friends in this business. Huffer Billy, I say it all the time. It means a lot to me when people come here that are fans of other teams. Really appreciate that. And usually they're nice. They don't even come in here and be mean. It's kind of nice. All right, we got any more super chats? We're going to the calls. We're going to see what's happening. I don't know what we're going to get. All right, I'm caught up, and I did star a bunch of them. I will come back to them and read them in a minute. I don't know what we're going to get on the calls. I got a feeling one of these has got to be the whiskey guy from last week. But I think he's like 2 hours earlier on the call. So we're going to see if it makes a difference. But you know what I'm referencing if you were here last week with Whiskey Guy. All right, 574. Let's do it. We got 3 574s. I got a 937. And I got Nick. I got you, Nick. All right, 574. What's going on? Good night.
That's right. We're back again.
Man, you're 2 hours ahead of your pace from last week, aren't you?
I'm never ahead, John. I'm always knee deep in the crowd.
I'm going to tell
Let's
you.
go.
I'm going to tell you. Let me ask you this. I'm glad you're having a good night. Thank you for your loyalty, calling in again. Let me ask you this, and maybe it'll change since you had a couple drinks. What's the high end and low end of Notre Dame this year? What is their high end win total? And on the low end, if everything goes bad, where do you think we fall?
If everything goes bad, John, we are 8-4. If it falls in line and it's A-okay, I can see 11-1. I don't think Ohio State is going to be as good as everyone thinks. They got a brand new quarterback. They lost a lot of the offensive line. They lost some receivers. We're going to be just fine, John.
I like that. I like that a lot. Now, let me ask you this question. What's going to happen if Sam Hartman tweaks a knee week 2? What happens then? How does that alter your plans? Because it's my number one chief concern now is keeping Hartman upright, because if he goes down for any amount of time, we're in uh-oh land, just like last year, all over again.
John, let's take a look at this thing.
What happens then? Talk me through it.
In the blue and gold game last year. How was Angeli in the blue and gold game this year? What did you think?
I think I don't have enough of a body of work to have a real opinion on it. And when I don't have that kind of evidence, I have to lean on being kind of nervous. And I think that's fair. I'm not trying to be negative, but I haven't seen enough from Angeli big picture to have an opinion one way or another. Do you?
John, I mean, here's the thing. Every single team across the United States is going to have the same situation. All your backups are transferring.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to have a sophomore or a freshman.
You know what?
Have one senior. That's just going to be the way it is nowadays.
You know what I got to give you credit for? I got to give you credit for this. Even though you're drinking Crown, that actually makes a lot of damn sense. If you really think about it, the future of college football is if your starter gets hurt, you're totally dead, because no good backup is going to sit somewhere and be a backup anymore, right? Isn't that what you're saying? I agree with you. I kind of agree with you. I think it's going to be like that for everybody.
That's what I was at last week.
Yeah, you got a good point. I don't care if you're drinking or not. A good point's a good point, and that's a good point.
I mean, just think about it, John. What do you think is going to happen down at Alabama when Buckner has one bad game? Do you think Nick Saban's going to sit back and let this guy take the reins and let him lose to Brian Kelly again?
Yeah, here's that, man. You're hitting on something else I wanted to talk about is Reese and Buckner do not have that comfort Notre Dame blanket where half the fans love them no matter what, just because there are guys. Half the media is in the bag for them because there are guys. You don't have any of that loyalty at Alabama. And I already heard him on the Feinbaum show. Why are they letting them leprechauns take over our team? If they go 3 and out a couple times, they're going to want to run both of those guys and drop them right back off on the steps of the Golden Dome. You and I both know it. It ain't going to go well if it doesn't go well.
That's what I'm saying, John. That's what I've been trying to get through this thing. I mean, the guy got injured walking down the stairs, for God's sake. I mean, you think his ankle's going to be able to take another season here? There's no way. You could have Hartman tweak his ankle, but then guess what? We could have a Deshaun Kaiser situation where that third stringer comes in, takes that damn ball, marches it right down the field, and gets us some victories. And that could be Angeli, it could be Minty, who knows?
All right, now let me ask you this. Let me flip onto the other side of the ball, my friend. Do you have what are your biggest worries on the defense right now? I feel like we were talking a lot about the defensive vulnerabilities, wanting that linebacker group to be more effective, worries about the secondary, which have existed my entire 38 years. And then up front on the D-line, are we big enough or whatever? Are we going to be able to get home? All of that we were debating. Then all the offensive news happened, right? You had Reese was gone. Then you have, Buckner's gone. Then you have Diggs. You got Lorenzo. All the news has come offensively. I have not forgotten about the defensive side of the ball. Do you think they're going to be where they were last year, take a step back, or take a step forward? What do you think?
I think it's going to be a step forward. We need one more good safety. We get a good safety in the portal, we're going to be just fine, John. But one thing I want to ask you, do you remember seeing the picture of Dylan McCullough standing next to those running backs? Who looked the most impressive there?
Well, I mean, I don't remember exactly what you're talking about, but any picture of the running back room recently would have to have Estime looking like a block of granite that I'm in love with. Is that what you're talking about? Because that dude is jacked.
He looked like freaking Derrick Henry back there.
When?
I mean, he looked double the size of Estime while he was a freshman.
Well,
take a look at that picture.
What I was going to ask is,
Twitter.
Can I ask you this? Have we gotten a health update on him? I am very interested. I believe it was an Achilles, and I really want to see what that rehab's like, and if he's going to have that same juice he exhibited in the blue and gold game last year that I loved. And then Love, I got half the people that message me tell me Love is the most talented, raw, talented guy that's going to be in that running back room is a guy who hadn't even gotten on campus yet. What do you make of that? I have had multiple people tell me that guy is unbelievable and you're going to love him. What do you think of that?
John, I'm telling you, I think we're prepped for greatness. I think that Logan Diggs seen the writing on the wall that these freshmen were going to come in. They got to give him the ball. You have to. Next year, estimate he's gone. There's no way he stays for another season.
Yeah, I agree.
He'd be absolutely crazy to stay for another one.
Yeah,
go.
Yeah, you got to go. And you know what else?
Can.
Especially with running backs, you got to go because they get judged the more they get beat up. So if you're good enough to go early, you go early because they literally beat up on the running back value with that mileage. You're absolutely right. He's going to go. We're going to need those guys to step up.
I'm telling you, John, it's for much crown is running through these veins. I am one of the smartest of the millions and millions of Irish fans out there.
Yeah, you're top of the list for sure, my friend. Anything else you wanted to cover? Good. It's a good call. Hey, I got something for you. I got something coming up for you, man. I cut up.
I'm waiting for that.
Listen,
John. You said you were going to cut me up.
I did.
Let this thing ride.
I did.
See what happens, and I haven't seen it cut up yet.
That's what I was going to tell you is I got a couple of your one-liners from last week on deck. They'll come out as YouTube shorts in the next week or two. But I highlight you, so you're going to be on there, man. So stay tuned. I promised you I'll cut you up. I'll get you.
I'm a real man, John. I don't sit there and drink Miller Lite. You can put me on that camera next to you, and I can get $100 donation to chug that whiskey, and I'll chug it, John.
Wow.
I won't sit there and piss out. I'll do it.
That's dedication, my friend. I also appreciated the detail you told me that if something goes wrong with Notre Dame, all the damage you do to your house and all the things you break in your garage, throw stuff at the neighbor's house. I got to tell you, I really enjoyed that conversation. It was most interesting to me.
Oh, John, I will let you see it. I have a video right now of me taking an 8-iron, swinging this club, and trying to smack it into somebody's house after we lost that Stanford game because I was just so pissed off. I didn't know what to do with myself.
8-iron. How'd you pick the 8-iron? You didn't want too much loft, but you didn't want to line drive it? How'd you pick an 8-iron out of all of them? Or did you just grab one? It happened to be an 8.
Because the 8-iron goes up in the air just enough over those trees to land down into a window or a roof where they don't know where it came from.
But wait,
John.
what's your hand-eye coordination on a golf swing after a half a bottle of Crown? I'm questioning. You taking a big divot? What are you doing? Teeing it up in the driveway?
John, I don't need to do that. I have grass that is like a tee. That is why my TikTok is blown up. I can take that thing, set it on top of the grass, smack that shit so far that you won't even see where it went.
Oh man, I'm telling you, that's impressive. Next time I want you to record yourself doing it so we have some footage. Anything else, my
I
friend?
have footage, John.
What else?
I have footage.
Send it
John.
on Twitter then. I want to see it. What else is on your mind, man? Anything else tonight? Or are you just having a good old time?
Hey, we're just having a good old time, John. You know, I just want to clear a couple things up last week because everyone's so focused on who's left. We need to focus on who's in the camp. Who do we got going? Let's focus on the good that's going on in this program because I think there's a lot more energy going on now than what we've had in the past 20 years.
No, I agree with you on that. I agree. It's a modern energy. It's more open. It's more open. It's more welcoming. It's a fresh vibe. Yeah, I like it. It's a new energy. And I felt that at the blue and gold game, not this year, but last year. It was Freeman's first chance to really do something, just him. And I felt it. It was a different vibe, and I like it. It's healthy, and Notre Dame needs it. It was a needed change of vibe.
That's what I like to hear, John. And like I said, we need to make this thing weekly because the millions and millions of the Irish fans love hearing this shit spew out of my mouth.
Well, right now there's only 79. So we're a little short of millions and millions, but I do appreciate the 79 that are in the house. All right, man, I'm going to get somebody else on. Call me back later if the mood strikes, okay?
I'll do that, John.
Hey, thanks for calling, man. I appreciate your loyalty. I really do. Thank you.
Later.
Have a good one. Oh, man, he was in a lot better shape than last week. That was actually pretty good. All right. We got more calls. I'm getting there. $10 holler. John, why do you keep talking Artman injury? We have Alton Fisher. Do you believe in those two? In all honesty, those two may dictate this season. They have to show up big in the big three games. I mean, when I worry about Sam Hartman staying healthy, I mean, we had a starting quarterback miss the blue and gold game because he fell down the stairs. Like, I'm talking about everything in life. I don't want that guy water skiing on summer break. I don't want him doing nothing. It's that important. You cannot have what happened last year happen again. You absolutely just can't do it. You can't. And I don't blame Buckner for leaving or whatever. I truly do think the new dynamic is going to be you have a starter and your backups are going to be like new young freshmen. You're not going to have a good number two. I think if all the good number twos are going to go start somewhere else. So I do not believe this is going to be a Notre Dame problem. This is going to be everywhere because any number two or thought they were good enough to be number one and didn't get the job, their phones are going to be ringing because quarterback play is so important. Somebody's going to want them. And so I just think that's the future. And so, but it's everything. It could just be the littlest thing. It's just without the Buckner safety net, you're exposed the same exact way we were last year. It's the same exact deal where if your first guy gets hurt, it's uh-oh time. And after having that happen last year, you just can't do it again. So it's top of mind because if I think about all the next year for Notre Dame and all the things we want to accomplish and the big games on the schedule and all that, when I look at all of it, the key to all of it is Hartman staying healthy. We just went through it last year. You all see how big of a deal it is. It's rough. It is rough. Newt Rockne, USC's immensely better this year. Well, it does help when you can go get 8 starters on defense out of the portal. Those guys, I bet, had never even stepped foot at USC, and they're going to be out there playing defense for them. It's rough. I'm telling you guys, it's rough out here, man. All right, back to the phones. 574, you're on the air. Happy Saturday.
How's it going, man?
It's going very well. Just having a good casual Saturday night Notre Dame chat. What's on your mind, man? What's up?
I just want to say,
those people that say that, the fans that say that we're going to have a bad record this year, I beg to differ.
And what makes you
As long as
what
Sam
makes
Hartman-
you think that? Is it that you think Hartman could raise the ceiling of this offense and we might actually get an offense that looks like a real world offense this time that could run and throw it? What a modern luxury. Is that what you're hoping for? If so, me too.
Yes. I'm hoping that, that he stays healthy the whole season, which I think he will. I have faith that he will. And I think we go 11-1, honestly, if he remains healthy and he doesn't get hurt.
Here's what I want to say. Here's what I want to say about that. And I'm sure you'll have an opinion if this is where your mind's at with this call. I was thinking about this a lot. Look at how limited Notre Dame's offenses have been lately under Kelly. Okay. Heavy running game, tight end play, but the passing game has been an issue for a long, long time. Look at how far Notre Dame was able to get and how much they were able to accomplish being totally one-dimensional other than the tight end. But like wide receiver, not a big thing, just like tight end or running game. We've accomplished a lot being severely handicapped and limited on offense. It blows my mind to think of what's possible if a Notre Dame team could do both. Run the ball, physical, do all that, and throw it around. I'm not used to it, man. Are we going to see a real modern Notre Dame offense for the first time? Are we going to see it? Give it to me.
Honestly, I think so. I mean, Sam Hartman, I know it's not just Sam Hartman. Like, everybody's got to, it's like a team effort. But I think Sam Hartman is talented enough to do it. We got talent on the team.
Let me ask this. I'm sure if you're a Notre Dame fan, you either were at or watched the blue and gold game, right?
Yes,
okay.
I was there, yes.
Well, you should have came to the Always Irish tailgate then. So I'm a little disappointed in that, unless you were there and I didn't know it was you. Should have came by.
Yeah. I actually been meaning to apologize to you about that. I was meaning to go over there to visit you. But my dad and I were like kind of rushing into the stadium because we wanted to get food. So.
Oh, well, that's okay. There'll be another time. But I don't think that I'm used to the concept of Notre Dame being able to stretch a defense with the run and the pass. It could change everything. And I'll even take it this far. Even if we don't score a ton more points or whatever, we're going to have the ball more. It's all going to help the defense. I'm nervous about the defense. Notre Dame's should average more points next year and a better time of possession with Hartman. And you're not going to have a bunch of those 3-and-out dead possessions. Oh, tell me, how many times have you seen this, caller? 1st and 10, Notre Dame, run up the middle for minus half a yard. 2nd down, a run off to the side for 2 yards. Now it's 3rd and long, a pass into the flat with no blocking and Notre Dame's punting. Like, I don't think we're going to have that. Sam Hartman knows how to operate, man. I was impressed in the blue and gold game. He was running them up and down the field, getting in and out of those plays. It just looked like a smooth operator, and I'm not used to that. Did you see that too? He looked like he was ready to distribute, baby.
Oh, absolutely. I've been saying that. I mean, Buckner is looking lost out there, and Sam Hartman just outshined him out there. Like,
all right, can I bring something up to you? Can I bring something up to you that I read and heard from multiple Notre Dame sources who I know have more inside information and access than I do? A bunch of those guys were saying they were alerted that the Buckner transfer thing there was smoke to that the week leading up to blue and gold. And then the performance looked all lackluster. Doesn't that kind of make sense? Maybe the guy was already checked out or his mind was all whacked out with all the options and what am I going to do? That makes a lot of sense to me of why he was kind of whacked out, doesn't it?
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Maybe he already kind of like knew that he was gonna transfer. I mean, he just wasn't. He just wasn't right. Like, I'm not even gonna bash him because I know that it kind of hurt him, like in the COVID year, especially because I don't think his high school played football.
Nope. Here's what he had, man. Here's what he had. I go over it every week. I feel so bad for the guy. He had an ACL in high school, lost a year to COVID. Then you're a freshman. Then there's a transfer. Then you get injured. Then there's another transfer. It's been nothing. He's had 5 years of bad luck in a row. The guy's literally had 4 to 5 years of bad football luck in a row in every area. Health, timing, depth chart, all of it's worked against him. He's had horrible luck. Luck of the Irish? I don't think so. The guy's had bad luck.
Maybe he should just stay away from stairs.
I know. I've made that joke too.
Because I heard he injured himself on stairs.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. The stairs beat him up. And then I took a picture with him at the Blue and Gold. He was at the tailgate I was at. And it's like, yep, there's his foot brace. Like, I don't know, man. It's like, I just feel for the guy. What are the odds he starts at Alabama? What do you really think the odds of that are? You think he has a chance to do it?
Honestly, I don't really know if he's quite ready because isn't he? He's going to have to work for it.
When's he ever going to be ready?
You know?
I've been waiting for him to be ready, and he's been waiting for himself to be ready. Wait. I got an angle on this Buckner thing, and I got to get this out. Tell me what you think of this. When you look at him going to Alabama, on the surface, you're like, man, that's a weird fit. Knowing Buckner's personality and everything, that's a weird fit. But then people will say, John, him and Reese are close. So it makes perfect sense that Reese would be a comfort to him and that he would go there. But then my response would be, wait a second, time out. You're telling me he's going to rejoin with the guy who is most responsible for recruiting the guy that is the reason he's not going to start at Notre Dame again? Like, Reese is literally the guy who went and got Buckner or went and got Hartman to take Buckner's starting spot, and then now he wants to rejoin with them. I just think that's a little weird. Am I reading that wrong?
Yeah, I kind of think that's a little weird because it's the guy. I didn't think that he would go to Alabama.
Dude, it's the guy you brought in, the guy replacing him at Notre Dame that's making him want to transfer. I just think it's the oddest dynamic.
Yeah, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I don't know how you feel about Tommy Rees, as a coach. Because I felt like, yeah, he was a good coach at times. He was good at times, but sometimes his play calls are kind of questionable. Like, he would do short passes and
I want Reese to succeed. He's a Notre Dame guy. He's been loyal to Notre Dame a long time. I want to see him have success. As far as him leaving Notre Dame, my position on that has been the following. Of all the tears I have to cry over Notre Dame stuff, Notre Dame occurrences, Notre Dame happenings, of all that, I don't have any tears for a guy leaving, but when he was here, there was never anything elite at all. Not as a player, not as a coach. None of the offenses were elite. The quarterbacks regressed or didn't get better. I want him to succeed, but him leaving here, there was nothing elite here that makes me that upset that he's not here. I want him to do well, but I can't drop tears for the 42nd ranked offense last year. I can't do it. I don't have it in me.
Yep. I just felt like he was bad at developing quarterbacks. I just felt like at times he could be good, but at times he would, do all these short passes. I'm just thinking to myself, what the hell are you doing?
The quarterback thing.
It just seemed like he was afraid.
the quarterback thing really bothers me. That's the biggest thing. When you look back at the Kelly era and then the Kelly Reese era, all of those quarterbacks, the longer they started, their numbers went down. It is the ultimate red flag. Like Ian Book, all that guy accomplished for Notre Dame, still, the more he was here, the numbers went down. That second year he started, the numbers went down. Like whatever it is, if you want to talk about Golson, we can go all the way back. The numbers always went down. Wimbush, the numbers got worse. Ultimate coaching red flag that the longer these guys are here, they don't get better. I hated that.
Yes, me too. And I wish him the best and all, but I'm happy that Freeman, got his own staff in here.
Yeah.
That's all I'm happy about.
You know what? You could argue.
The future of this team is just so bright. Like, I feel so confident now. You
could argue, and I've thought about this. Do you think it would have been most beneficial for both Freeman and Reese to part ways right when Freeman got the job, make a clean break between like the Kelly era and the Freeman era and make that line clear? And then Tommy could go get out of the shadow of the dome and go do whatever he was going to do. I've thought about that. If that would have maybe been easier for everybody involved. And I keep being told that Tommy Boy kind of thought he should have been in the running to get that head coaching job, or expected maybe not an interview, but a conversation about it. I heard there was something there that Reese wasn't that happy, that he wasn't looked at in that light. And I found that to be interesting too.
Yeah, I kind of find that interesting. And I don't know if you heard this, but I don't know if you heard after the Marshall game when I think Tommy Reese and Marcus Freeman got into it after that game. I don't know if you heard about that, but they got into a little bit of an argument after that game.
I didn't hear that. But I've been told by multiple people that Reese was operating last year as if he was head coach 1A. Like Freeman was 1 and he was 1A. I heard from multiple people that was the vibe. That ain't going to work. Like there can only be one alpha, one head coach. Like that ain't going to work. And I've had multiple people I trust kind of hint to me that Reese was operating like he was co-head coach and that there was a little bit of friction there. Not everything's rainbows and lollipops in Notre Dame land. So maybe it'll be better for everybody.
Oh yeah. I just think that like Tommy Reese, I felt like he was trying to, tell Marcus Freeman, I've been here longer. I know what I'm doing. You know? That's what the vibe I got. But,
yeah, me too.
But I feel confident now that Freeman's got his own staff. He's bringing in the talent.
And you know what else I like?
As long as he lands the top players, that's even going to make it even feel even better.
Yeah, here's what I like about this. If, as we discussed, if Hartman stays healthy, what I love about this the most is you got Parker coming in there. I just think Hartman's going to make Parker look good because we're not used to a guy that can throw the ball like Hartman does. And I really do think that it's going to make Gerard Parker look pretty good next year because we should be able to run the ball. They could do that. Hopefully that's like a soft landing for Parker and things go well. The offense looks good. And then you have a high bar to build on from there. That's kind of how I want that to go.
Yes, it depends on, I guess, as long as the offensive line is strong, Hartman's going to help us win.
Yeah.
They just got to be consistent. And I have confidence this season. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that we're going to beat Ohio State and whatnot. I hope we do. I mean, that's, the potential. Especially what happened last year. We started, we played them the first game But this year we kind of get. I don't like to call them like warm up games. The first 4 games, but that's what they basically are.
Yeah,
Like,
they're just
we
warm
don't
up.
really know.
Yeah, they're just warm up games unless you lose one and then your season's ruined. Like it's casual until it isn't. I get what you're saying. I don't know. I just think it doesn't have to be Heisman level for Notre Dame to be way better on offense. We are not used to a modern passing game. If we see anything next year that resembles a modern passing attack, that's freaking progress. We're that far behind in that area.
Yes.
It's rough.
We have to, I just want to say this, like, I just feel this is the most confident I felt probably in a very long time.
Are you nervous about the defense? I could point to all sorts of reasons I'm excited about the offense. Are you nervous about the defense?
I'm kind of nervous about the defense, yeah, because Freeman did say that it was just a glorified, practice. We won't know how the defense will look until the Ohio State game.
Yeah, it's the first big test.
It's going to be kind of concerning to me a little bit, but hopefully, the defense is good, good enough, to win that game.
Yeah, and like we already mentioned, if the offense puts up more points and holds the ball longer, that helps the defense as well. Anything else, my friend? Appreciate the call tonight.
I just got one more thing to ask you, like, because I've been talking about like one more thing on like Tommy Rees and all that. I don't want to like bash the guy or nothing. I wish him nothing but the best, but do you agree? Like, I think that when Nick Saban retires, I honestly think he's going to give the job to Tommy Rees. Do you agree with that?
Man, I don't want to be mean to Rees. I don't know if he's ready to be a head coach yet. He's been an offensive coordinator of offenses that are never that good. And like, tell me the credentials that would be based off is what I'm asking you. There is no evidence. There is no offense Tommy Rees oversaw that is elite. There is no recruiting class that he put all together that's elite. Like, people keep saying Tommy's this future head coach. And I keep saying, based off what elite results does he deserve that kind of credit? And I don't have an answer to it other than his dad is a lifetime NFLer, and he's the boy wonder when it comes to all these playbooks and everything. Well, then why is Notre Dame's offense never been any damn good? Why have they been one-dimensional?
Right.
Why are they never top 10? Why do we never win the biggest games of the year? Because of what his offense does. How come in the biggest games we go 3 and out and put up 52 yards offense in a half? So I want the guy to have a great career, but I don't see any evidence that warrants getting a Power 5 head coaching job off what he's done or been as a player or a coach. Tell me where I'm wrong. What Notre Dame offense that he was in charge of, you said, oh my God, this is awesome. Playoff game winning. I've never seen it. So what would he be getting a head job off of? I don't get it.
Exactly.
I don't get it. Like, show me the elite results and it makes sense.
Yeah. He's not elite. Our offense was never elite. The quarterbacks are never elite. So I don't see how he would be a head coach.
And then I hear Saban wants him. No. None of that matters because Nick Saban wanted him. John, you can't question it. Saban wanted him. That means that he's elite. You can't say nothing because that's what I get told every day. If it's good enough for Saban, who the hell are you in your basement to question it, John? I hear that every day. Every day.
Yeah, just because Saban is a great coach doesn't mean that just because he hires Rees doesn't mean it's the greatest decision.
Yeah, and it also doesn't mean it was his first choice. I've heard that it was about his third or his fourth, but that's neither here nor there. So I want Reese to succeed in the coaching industry. I am very frustrated that nothing he did here was elite, either with developing quarterbacks or the on-field output of the offense. That's just very, very frustrating to me to hear how highly he's thought of, but the results on paper are not elite at all. I have a cognitive dissonance with that. I struggle with it.
Yeah, man, that would be tough if he ended up being a head coach. He's just not ready.
Whatever. I don't see it yet.
Hey,
I could see him being on that track, but not yet.
Notre Dame makes it to the playoffs, hey, that's all I care about.
Yeah,
they could do whatever they want. That Tommy Rees and them.
Yeah. So I wish him well, man, but it is frustrating for me to hear how highly thought of he is when none of the results at Notre Dame were close to good enough. And now you could blame Kelly for some of that, or like he's not the only one involved. I know, but I got to look at the results first, and none of them are elite. So I don't know, man, but I appreciate the call tonight. Thank you very much.
And you're welcome. By the way, I want to tell you that I love the intro.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I had fun putting that together. Just some little freak out compilations. I'll have some other stuff coming out like that too. I like having fun with that. It was time to mix something up. So thanks for noticing. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Have a good rest of your
now.
Beautiful. Oh, and I'll let you, I know you're local. If we do a tailgate in the season, I'll let you know. Make sure you swing by that one, okay?
Okay.
Beautiful. Have a good rest of this Saturday night, man. Thanks for calling.
All right, you too. Go Irish.
Go Irish. Oh, man. $10 holler and then right back to the calls. We got a bunch of people. So everybody, whatever's top of mind, let's roll with it. I want to give everybody on here a chance. $10 holler. Buckner has been lackluster since day one. Also, clearly, he's not that smart. Oh, I don't know about that. He's supposed to be a smart guy, right? He changed the ND bench with an ND degree for the Alabama bench. I would have transferred to Stanford or Pitt. All right. So by not that smart, he means he's not going to be the starter at Notre Dame. And he's saying he's not going to be the starter at Alabama. So then you lost the Notre Dame degree, and now you're going to go to Alabama and not start there and then also not get the Notre Dame degree. It's supremely intriguing to me. But if Buckner starts for Alabama, I'm terrified about his physical health and how that's going to go in the SEC. If he doesn't start for Alabama, then I'm sitting here wondering what the hell all this was for to begin with. Because the initial thing is he wants to play. But if he's going to make this move and not play, the only other avenue I could go to is he was so fed up with the bad luck in Notre Dame and just sick of all of it. Had to get away. But, which makes sense, perfectly valid. But here's my thought. I thought Cal would be a fit, like somewhere in California would be, not Cal necessarily, somewhere in California where he's from. Stanford would be a fit. Go to Northwestern, go to, I don't know. I didn't expect it to be Alabama. And the other thing this tells me is clearly they do not like what they have in that quarterback room at Alabama, or none of this would be happening. So they must have real concerns about the other guys in that room. So I don't know what happens. Does he share time at Alabama? Is there such a thing that they would want to run that and have Buckner do the stuff he's good at and then have a bigger arm guy throw? I don't know. But Tyler Buckner's had a rough run, and I want him to be satisfied with whatever happens. I just have real doubts about what that's going to look like at Bama. I don't know, man. I do. $2 holler late to the party. Apologies, fearless leader. It's all good, man. I appreciate you being here and on the morning shows as well. All right, back to the phone lines. We got a bunch of calls. Keep it tight. 937. What's going on tonight on a Saturday night?
Hey, John, it's your favorite Buckeye fan. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Always good to talk to the people, man. It just has, you know how it is. It's a different vibe late at night than early in the morning. It's just a little different energy. It's good to mix it up, man.
Oh, yeah, and I'll tell you what, sitting out here on the back of my patio, it's basically summer weather finally here. You know, we've had kind of a crappy spring the last 3 or 4 weeks. I know probably in Chicago, same for you. So,
Yep.
Hey, I wanted to mention there's no way Tommy Rees gets that job at Alabama as the head coach. That's laughable. It would be Dabo or somebody like that. So.
Man, but I struggle with it so much because I just keep hearing from everybody. Genius, football genius. Dad's a life NFLer. He knows everything. He knows everything there is to know and all this stuff. And I keep hearing it. But then I ask a very simple question, and it is, why didn't any of the quarterbacks he worked with clearly get better? And why were none of the offenses elite if he's that big of a genius? And if the answer is, well, Kelly's recruiting got in the way or Kelly was meddling with play calling or whatever, I guess I can't answer for that. And we'll see how it plays out at Alabama. But a lot of people believe he is on the fast head coaching track. I personally have not seen enough to warrant that. And I'm not trying to be mean. I want him to succeed. I haven't seen him, man.
No, I haven't seen it either. And but I'll say this: I think it's kind of a shame in the way that he went, because a clean break at the beginning would have been way better than what happened. This winter.
Now, wait. Let me ask you this. Did you hear me bring that up earlier? I thought about that too, that it would have been a clear break line between these two regimes, and it would have been crystal clear, and then Freeman would have a clean slate to get an offensive coordinator, and then Rees could go follow Kelly somewhere, or he could just start somewhere else. I thought of that too. So I didn't know where that, I don't know where that falls.
Well, here's the problem. Rees, if he would have stayed this year, you would have had the for sure answer if he was the guy. Now you got a new guy in there. He's gonna get he's gonna get this year, and he's probably gonna get next year. But the guy I believe that's in there was the tight ends coach, right?
Yep.
Am I wrong?
Yep.
We nobody knows if he can run an offense. So now, after this year, if it's, slightly better than last year, was that because of the players, or is that because this coach, So,
well, here's what's
a year ago would have been better.
Yeah, I agree. But here's what's going to happen. If Sam Hartman is healthy, I see no way that the Notre Dame offense doesn't appear to be significantly improved and more efficient over last year's with a backup quarterback running it and what we're all used to seeing. So I think Parker, the new OC, is going to benefit from what Sam Hartman does off his arm, opening up this offense. And by default, Parker's going to get some of that credit. And I think that helps him because then it builds him some confidence. And then year one, the numbers are good. That's what I want to happen in a perfect world. I think Sam Hartman being healthy makes that offense way better than what we're used to, and everybody's going to be happy no matter what. Am I wrong for that? I really think that. I think that.
No, I think you're right. But I think, obviously, if he's got to play great.
Dude, wait. No, I'm stopping you, Captain Ohio State. Let me stop you and tell you something right now, bud, on your damn deck drinking beer. Listen. We don't know what a good passing game is at Notre Dame, man. Like, I'm sorry, Captain Ohio State, you're used to the ball flying all over. Well, I'm not, and I want to be. But you got to realize, man, a mid-range deep passing game is like a foreign concept to me presently, and I need it to change. It's what wins in the playoffs. You got to score points, man. You got to be electric. I need it. I need it. I want it. Give it to me. Give it to me.
You know what?
Rick James. Rick James. Give it to me.
One thing. Ohio State's learned. It takes a defense. And I'll tell you what, from what I've been hearing, that this year the defense is going to look better. So it's going to be strength on strength for the big game here on the 23rd. I'm super excited.
Man,
it's going to be a strong defense at Ohio State, a strong offense at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And the way I think it's going to play out, I think it's going to come down to whoever makes the mistake at the end of the game.
Yeah. It's wild to me how excited everybody is about that. And it's early. We're only in early May and everybody's counting down the days. Nick and Tim, I got you two up next. So hang with me. Neither of you guys drop off. I got you both next, Nick and Tim. Yeah, it's going to be wild, man. Can I ask you something? I'm just telling you, it makes me very, very uncomfortable to have to admit Michigan's recruiting has really taken a jump in the right direction. And I hate them. And everybody that follows me knows that they're my number one. I hate them, whatever. But I got to give them credit when they do something well. Their recruiting really has changed. And it's actually legitimately getting to be really solid. What do you make of that? What is causing that? Are they ponying up more NIL behind the scenes? Or do they think that Harbaugh might not leave for 1 year and they're comfortable? What's changing there? Or is it the Big Ten they won and that's that credit? What is it? What's changed?
Yeah. So
what the hell has changed? Because I don't like it.
I don't like it either. And I want it to go away. But I think there's a couple of things in play for them. Obviously, the idea that Harbaugh is going to be there a little bit longer is helping them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another thing. They've recruited really, if you look at the recruiting rankings, they've been pretty bad the last 2 or 3 years. But they've really succeeded on getting the transfers. Like their entire offensive line they've had great play from transfers, and it's been killing us. So I think what's happening is that these transfers next year, they have a whole team coming in. But after that, they're going to lose like most of their team. And so there's going to be a lot of spots available for players. And I think people are seeing that. They're saying that Harbaugh is going to be there maybe a little longer than what people first thought. And so it's boosting the rankings this year. Now, will that continue into the year after that? I don't know, because I'll be honest, John Harbaugh, one of the Mr. Harbaugh, he hasn't recruited the greatest.
Yeah, which one? The normal one or the weird one? I think you mean the weird one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's how I look at him. That's how I look at him. There's the normal one and the weird one, and they look similar.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think part of it is that they've had so much in the transfer game that they have a lot of guys that are older in the class, and they're going to be leaving next year, and so they're going to have a lot of spots open. So I think it's really opened up things. But I will say where you're seeing it is in the quarterback.
Yeah,
this is where they've started to get better. Is that quarterback?
Yep.
So they got obviously a 5-star coming in 2024.
And I did. And wait. Now this came up earlier in the chat before I even went live. Somebody said to me, John, do you think maybe there's something to the reason that Michigan didn't go after CJ Carr because they thought they could get that other kid in 24 that's better that they ended up landing? Like, and I don't know what to make of that. Like, Notre Dame and quarterbacks, I am not in the position to complain about which high-level quarterback Notre Dame gets. It's been that big of a struggle. So I'm plenty happy to have CJ Carr come to fruition. But I did get asked that. Maybe they weren't even pushing on him that much, even though he's a legacy, because they wanted that other guy. I have just objectively noticed through my hatred, their recruiting's gotten a lot better, and it makes me mad, but I am not so immature that I can't admit that one of my enemies I hate is doing a good thing. They're doing good, and I don't like it.
Yeah, let me say this. If they could have got Carr, they would have taken him first. The one thing about that 5-star kid, I think he's out of North Carolina, Jaden Davis is his name.
Yep.
Is that I think he's under 6 foot tall. So, I know that Bryce Young looked great at under 6 foot, but
yeah,
the idea of he could have been another one of, he could be like the guy that you guys had last year. So I'd be a little bit
Yeah.
wary of a quarterback that's under 6 foot tall.
I
And
didn't
know
realize
he's
he was that small. I
faster,
didn't
this and
realize
that,
he
but
was that short. I didn't realize that.
yeah, he's a shorter guy, and that's why Ohio State they would have taken him, but he wasn't high on their list, as some of the other guys were. So, as a quarterback, but you know what? They still got him. They wouldn't have got him before, so that's kind of interesting. And man, we gotta get them going. But I'll tell you this real quick with the whole NBC thing. When are you going to be ready to join the Big Ten, man? We need you in the league. I want my teams not making $90 million. I want to make them $100 million, $110 million.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Yeah. All right. Here's how I'm looking at this, man. You're the perfect person to talk to. A Big Ten, loyalist, Ohio State guy. But you see the benefit that everybody would win in that scenario. I get it. All right. Here's how I see this. Okay. I think the big priority here is two things would determine if Notre Dame felt that they had to join a conference full time. And the two things are playoff access limitations as an independent to the point where you think it's so impossible we can't make it work. We've sidestepped that. Notre Dame could be in the tournament, but even if we're undefeated, we don't get a bye. And that's like a deal that Notre Dame's AD has negotiated in the 12-teamer. So Notre Dame doesn't have an access problem, but they just can't have the bye. And Notre Dame was willing to accept that deal. That eliminates the worry about getting blackballed or something by the new playoff committee. So they covered that. The number two thing is the money. The TV deal has to be in the ballpark. I don't expect $90 million, but it has to be close enough that Notre Dame's not $50 million behind every other team every year, and then you're dead forever because you can't compete with the resources that come with that kind of money. So let's see what the TV deal is. If NBC doesn't want to play ball, I don't know what you do then. Shoulder programming. Can you make a half-ass deal with the Big Ten where some of their games are on NBC, so are Notre Dame's, and everybody kind of shares some of that revenue and everybody wins? Am I being naive? That seems like a good deal for everybody. NBC's got Big Ten games now. Combine some halfway deal. Do something. Everybody would win.
Yeah. Well, here's another thought. This is probably not true for most teams, but for Notre Dame, I think it is. If Notre Dame were to join the Big Ten, it would actually be like one of the few teams where it would cut down on travel for all their other teams. And there are just so many teams really close to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
I mean, Michigan State's like an hour and a half away. Michigan's an hour away.
Listen,
you know what I mean? It's like so many teams that are close.
You could end up with Notre Dame's historical rivalry. It would be like a rivalry game almost every week. Like Notre Dame and Purdue, Notre Dame, Michigan State, Notre Dame, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State. Go out to play Penn State. Go play Wisconsin. Go play Iowa. And then in Illinois, you go to Chicago, play Northwestern. You got Illinois, and then USC.
And
USC
is
exactly. USC is the cherry on top. So here's what I think. If Notre Dame finds a TV partner that puts the revenue in the ballpark of the SEC and the Big Ten payouts, Notre Dame will not feel a push to join a conference. If we end up in a dynamic where it's financially, they're not going to be able to compete, that's the only way I see them joining. And if they were to join a conference, it's not going to be the ACC, it'd be the Big Ten. For all of the reasons we talked about, geographics, academics, the research done at all these institutions academically lines up, the rivalries, that would be it. So it isn't going to be the ACC. It would be the Big Ten. But if they don't have the access problem and the money's right, they'll stay independent. That's how I think of this. Let's see what happens with the TV deal. Who wants them? I don't know.
And you know what? I would just really enjoy if they would come over to the Big Ten. And I'll tell you what, look at Alabama right now. They have a huge scandal going on with their baseball program. This is one of the biggest stories in sports maybe this year, and you don't even hear a word about it on ESPN. They are so in the tank for the SEC. It's crazy.
Yep. But you know what? Hey, man, they know where their bread is buttered, and football's religion.
Exactly.
Football's religion down there, and you feed them what they need. Dude, it's. You know what? Tyler Buchner, he's okay, but he starts for little old Notre Dame. And then he goes to the SEC, and I start seeing his highlight packages, and they're pumping him up. Oh, look at him running around. It's amazing how the whole tone shifts right when he goes down there, man. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Money,
you see it?
It's money, baby.
Against South Carolina? Oh, my gosh.
I'm just telling you, dude. It's wild to me, the narratives here, but I want Buchner to succeed, but the Alabama fit is curious. It is very curious because if he doesn't start, what are we all doing here? And if he does start, I'm worried he might die out there.
I think it's better for Notre Dame if he doesn't start. But I think, but here, real quick, here's a thought I had, and maybe you can validate it or not since you're a fan of the team. I kind of feel like Notre Dame screwed up by letting go the short guy. What was his name last year?
Drew Pine,
the quarterback that you had for
Drew Pine.
Yeah. And I think
he was also
got rid of.
Hey, you also might know him from The Wizard of Oz in the beginning in Munchkin Land, where all the short people are singing and dancing. You might also recognize it from there.
Right. I think they should have said, "Hey, Pine, you did us a solid last year. We want you to be our." Maybe he would have said no, but we want you to be our second string quarterback behind the guy that's there now that came over from Wake Forest. But and he might have taken that, but he definitely wasn't going to take being the third string quarterback. And I think that's probably what he was told. But I think then you would have at least had a serviceable guy if your quarterback goes down this year. I mean, he might not be able to. I mean, I think he could make a game like Ohio State close, just depending on how your running game is. But, he won't. I don't think he can win a national championship for you, but he could definitely fill in a pinch. And I think they might have made a mistake there.
Dude, this guy, I don't know if you're looking at the screen or not. I highlighted, it says, I hated Reese as a quarterback and I hated him more as the OC. So that pretty much covers it for that guy. Didn't like him as a player, didn't like him as the OC. He's Alabama's problem now. I don't know what to tell you, man. It's just going to be, it's going to be interesting. But hey, I don't know how long you were listening. But the drunk guy, the Crown Royal drunk guy called, and he actually had a very good point, which was, he said, John, quit worrying about backup quarterbacks because these days, any backup who thought they should have won the starting job and didn't is going to be gone starting somewhere else. So you're always going to have a big gap now where it's going to be your frontline guy and then like a freshman not ready to play. But you're not going to have a guy in between. For a guy drinking Crown all afternoon, that's a good point. That makes a lot of sense to me, doesn't it?
It does. I think it makes sense. I'm going to add a little layer to that. I think it makes sense, especially if your head coach is a defensive coach. I think it makes sense. I think if you have an offensive guru type of coach, you're going to have a backup or two. Look at Steve Sarkisian over at Texas. He's got several guys that looked really good in definitely the backup, Malik Murphy. That guy looks really good in their game. But and people were hoping he was going to transfer. But I think if you have one of those offensive guru guys, I think most of those teams have a backup. But if you have a defensive head coach, I kind of feel like that's probably the case.
Yeah. And so it's just another thing with the changing dynamics of college football and I could even argue that the no sit out transfer rule actually impacts the game more than NIL because it impacts a larger amount of guys. The top big NIL stuff is only how many guys are actually in that ballpark worth the millions of dollars or whatever? But that no sit out transfer thing, that changes everything, man. That is a game changer. It is.
100% agree. I think college football, though, they got to get this under control, and I think there needs to be a 2-year rule. Once you transfer, it's 2 years.
Yeah,
2 years. You can't do any more.
And see, but
once you commit to a team, you got to be there 2 years.
But everything, even if it's well-intentioned, you got to get down the road to see what's going to happen. I don't think anybody expected certain teams to be flipping 30 or 40 guys in 1 year. Like, I'm not sure that's exactly the spirit of that no transfer rule. And like Prime, I was reading today at Colorado, Prime is flipping like 40, 50 guys or whatever. And you're asking, how does that work? He's revoking scholarships. He is literally going to guys and going, bro, like not like 1 or 2 guys. He's going to like 24 guys being like, bro, you ain't good enough to be here. You're out. We took your scholarship and good luck. Like, you're going to community college. Hit the community college, bro, down at Boulder, CC. You know what I'm saying? It's wild.
I think that's wrong. I think he could possibly pay for that, but we'll see. You know, it's very young for him.
Yeah.
But I thought legally, I mean, those are 1-year deals. I thought, you know, I didn't think you were allowed to cut people in college football. I thought, you know, you could tell people, hey, you're not going to have any playing time. Like, they told a guy who was a legacy. He was a 6'8" offensive lineman, a legacy. His father was on the 1990 championship team for them. And they cut him, and Deion said to him, you know, you're 6'8", 330 pounds. You'll find a place. We'll see you later. You're gone. And it's like, whoa. I don't know. You know, I think that rubs people the wrong way. I'm not sure if that's a great idea.
Here's my thought with him. I don't think there's any in between with him. This is either going to take off and what he's pitching is going to hit, or I think it's going to totally flame out. There's going to be a revolt. Like, I don't see much middle ground with the way he's doing this and with his pointed personality. It's either going to work a lot or I think it's going to burn down. That's kind of what I think.
Yeah. No way he's able to do this 2 years in a row. And if I'll close on this, with his schedule to start next year, it is brutal.
Is it? See, I don't know what his schedule is. That's going to be tough too. Yeah.
Yeah, look it up. It's pretty brutal. And
but I did see, I did see something like I did see something where it's like they sold the most season tickets for Colorado football they've ever sold before. The spring game actually had people there. That's a sleepy little college town. Deion don't do nothing quiet, man. That baby's all flash, son. It's all flash out there. So they're gonna be
all flash.
Yeah, it's a different world out there in the mountains now.
Their betting games went from 5.5 wins, though. I think it was like 5.5 or 5 wins. It went down to 3.5 after all the transfers and everything.
Man, that's a big change.
You know, that's a big change, and we'll see. We'll see if he's smarter than everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be fun,
yeah, for sure. It's interesting. And as a guy with a lot of energy, it's hard for me to not respect at a certain level his vibe, because I'm so animated too. So I get it.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I really appreciate the call. You called during the weekdays. It's always good stuff. You're not a Notre Dame guy, but you're fair the way you look at us. And I really respect that. Thank you for always calling. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I hope you're there for when we play, when the Buckeyes play Notre Dame. I'd love to meet you. So
yeah, well, we'll see.
Have a great fun.
But dude, you got to realize, you got to think of it my way. It kind of sucks if I'm at the game, because I'm going to lose all of the analytics from YouTube of not doing shows and being live and doing all that. So I want to be there as a fan, but that means I lose all the weekend revenue in the biggest game of the year. That's tough. So I have a tough decision to make.
It's a night game, tailgate show. You got to do a tailgate show, night game.
Bro,
don't worry about the revenue.
Bro, the South Bend cell phone tower is made for like 2 cows. Every time I get into town, I have no service. I never have any service. And then when I cross the state line going back to Illinois, my phone goes crazy, and I have 20 missed calls and messages I never received over there in Indiana. It's unbelievable. It's bad. So if I could get service, I would do that. So I don't know. We'll see. But we got a bunch of months to figure it out. Thanks, man.
We'll see. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Go. Have a good night.
Beautiful. Have a good night, my friend. Thank you. Oh, man, what a good caller. He calls on the morning show. Ohio State guy, but supremely fair to Notre Dame. I respect the hell out of it. All right. Nick Dean, Tim's coming up. California call coming up. John's taking a 1-minute break. I will be back and we'll take these calls. I'm going to play something for you. I'm going to play the intro. We'll see if I can get back in time. Enjoy this and then I'll... Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State. What do you mean the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, we're back. All right, I couldn't make it in under the minute and 3 seconds or whatever. I'm glad people like that. I should have thought of that years ago. I have some of those coming up. I got an epic freak out compilation coming up. I also have a funny one coming up. I got some of that stuff. Nick Dean, you're on the scene. Tim, you're coming up after him. What's going on, Nick? Hello, are you there?
Hey, John, how you doing?
What's going on, man? Hey, thanks. First off, thanks for coming to the Blue and Gold tailgate. It was a riot meeting you and the wife. We had a great time. Thank you so much.
Hey, we had a great time with you too. The thing was, I thought we were all going to stay for the whole game. You guys left at halftime, didn't you?
We left. When did we leave? We saw all Hartman do what he wanted to do. And then after people said, we saw what we need to see, let's get out of the weather and I'll watch the rest at home. So then, everybody,
come on, man.
Dude, everybody in our group was like, yeah, we're going to go drink somewhere in the warm weather. We'll watch the rest of this at home. So that's what happened. The weather didn't bother me. I could have stayed. It wasn't bothering me. I think I had enough Miller Lights. It wasn't going to affect me one way or another.
That's what you have to do. As a true Notre Dame fan, that's what you have to do. You have to stay for the whole game.
Hey, and you know what else I want? Here's a problem I want to have. I want to have some playoff games Christmas week in December at Notre Dame, and I guarantee nobody's going to like the weather. I pray that I'm in that position. Can you imagine that? I would love that. That'd be beautiful.
If there is a playoff game in South Bend, Indiana, with Notre Dame,
I will be there. And
No,
I
listen.
expect you to
Wait,
be
now
there.
I'm taking some heat here. They're saying, listen, John, we stayed till the beginning of the fourth quarter. Pat's the one that left early. Pat was the one cold that wanted to go drink in his little cabin on a beach somewhere in a lake off the toll road. Everybody, we stayed till early fourth quarter. Then we got out of there. And then I watched the rest at home and took my notes.
All I know is what you put out, John.
Yeah,
You put out that you and Pat left at halftime. He saw all he needed to see. You saw all you needed to see. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. That's what I heard.
You know what's funny though? It is funny because when you're there seeing it, it's totally different than when I went home and then watched it on TV with the notepad looking at it different. Like it was actually very interesting. Like you see things totally different. And yeah, it was nice. You still there? Are you on a delay or a
yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, I'm
My
sorry.
wife and I were sitting in the stadium. We had sleet hitting us all over.
Yeah.
It was the third quarter. The fourth quarter, we were like, oh my gosh, it's cold. We need to go home. And all of a sudden, we heard you guys are gone. So what happened? I mean, I don't know.
Hey,
we
man.
still had fun, though.
Yeah, no, we had a great time. And I look at it this way. I saw what I wanted to see. I did what I wanted to do. And the rest of it, I watched at home anyways. It's not like I missed anything. But I don't know, man. Let me ask you this. How important is Sam Hartman to next year? I'm terrified if he goes down.
God.
I am freaking terrified, man,
God.
that if something goes bad, we're in the same position as last year. Talk me out of it. Tell me, yeah, Adam says Hartman was in such control, we didn't need to see anything out. Like, we're so excited about Hartman, but he's got to stay in one piece, or this is going to be trouble. It's going to be bad again, man.
Everybody's excited about Hartman. Everybody's excited about Hartman, and I understand that. I'm more excited about Audric Estime. I'm more excited about Jadarian Price.
No. Wait.
That's where I'm at.
Wait,
That's
no.
where I'm at.
How? Explain to me the logic that you could be more excited about good running back play, which we have had here for a long time, compared to an actual passing game. We're used to good running backs.
I think Audric Estime will get 1,500 yards this year and 20 touchdowns.
Wow. I mean, here's the thing. With Diggs out, Estime's your lead dog. Now you can lather that guy up. There were too many wait, Nick.
Price will get 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns.
Let me ask you this. I'm going to think back to last year. I'm going to ask you this. There were many games where I was extremely frustrated and disappointed that I felt like Notre Dame took way too long to get Estime lathered up and involved in the game. Sometimes it'd be...
I don't think he's going to do that.
Dude,
I don't think they're going to do that.
Well, now they can't because Diggs is gone and the other guys are younger or coming off injury. But I was frustrated last year going, why is Estime's first carry coming midway through the second quarter? Get this dude lathered up.
Want to get him 20 to 25 carries a game and get him lathered up and get him 7 to 8, 10 or 15-yard runs a game, every game.
Yeah.
I think that's what Freeman wants.
Yeah, and I don't think it's listen, there are certain running backs with certain mentalities where they don't wear down. It's the opposite. Every time you give them the ball and they get hit or deliver a hit, it gets them more pumped up. It's not like every hit. It ain't like that where every hit you're losing your energy and then you down. This guy gets every hit.
Free throwing, John.
Dude, you're doing it to me, aren't you? You're trying to get me
Free
going.
throwing, John.
You're trying to get, I'm just telling you, estimates that
Free
guy.
throwing, John.
Estimates that guy where every time you
Hit him.
feed him the ball, it's going to be like an energy boost. And then he
I'm
wants
hitting
to,
you, John.
he
Just
wants
like
to
I wanna
give
hit
the
Audrey.
hit.
I'm hitting you,
He
John.
wants to give the hit, not
Yes,
be
yes.
hit. That's a different mentality. He wants to hit
Yes.
you. It
Yes.
ain't going the other way
Yes.
around. He's bringing it
Yes.
to you.
Yes, John. Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Go, John.
I love
Go,
it.
John.
Here's the
Go,
problem.
John.
Here's the
Go,
problem.
John.
Isn't he going to be gone
Go,
after
John.
this year? He's going to be gone after this year.
Yeah,
So
he
you better
probably
get
is.
him. Yeah. You better
That's
give
the
him
thing
all those carries
ultimately
now
sucks.
because he's leaving.
Yeah, he is.
And he should. It's the right move as a running back. But that's
He's
that's
the
another
beast of
reason.
May.
But that's another reason you got to feature
He's
him
the
because
beast
it's the
of
last year. It's the last year you're going to have the guy.
He's
Feature
the
him.
beast of May.
Feed him. Feed him.
He's the beast of May.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. That's very good. I like that. All right. Let me flip it on you. What's your concern level about the defense?
Hey, if you keep feeding the beast of May, our defense, it's not a concern. It's not a concern.
So you think that the offense will do enough that it could mask some defensive issues because they're going to put up
Yeah, I
more
do.
points. They're going to hold the ball longer to keep them off the
Yeah, I
field. Is
do.
that what you're thinking?
We can go Navy. We can go Navy, run the triple option.
Man, yeah. Man, there's a lot of options. There's a lot of options. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's going to be, let me ask you this. What games you guys going to next year, you and the wife? Do you know yet?
I want to go to Central Michigan.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, all avenues are pointing towards an Always Irish tailgate that week. That's the week everybody's,
USC.
dude, that's the week everybody's identifying being available. It won't be as chaotic as Ohio State. That might be a good opportunity. That could be fun. Do I got you?
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll see what we can do, bro.
Yeah, we'll see. But hey, I'll let you know for sure if we're going to do that tailgate. But I want you and the wife there. And also, she was lovely and very nice to me. Tell her I appreciate it, by the way.
She's always nice to everybody.
Yeah. Is that a way of going, John, you're nothing special. She's special. I like that. That's good. Yeah, exactly.
No.
John, it ain't you, it's her. But she had me pegged, man. She was nailing me on stuff. She's like, and I know when you do this, this is why. And I know when you don't do that, that's why. She was right about all of it. I appreciated it.
That's me trying to get some brownie points on a Saturday night at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, man. Yeah, but she was lovely. Anything else, my friend? What else you got?
Hey, just go Irish. Go Audric Estime. Get 1,500 yards and 20 touchdowns and a Heisman this year.
Oh, beautiful. I love it, man. Go Irish. Thanks for the call, man. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you. We got a $5. Man, he's so nice. His family's so nice. $5 hour. Check your Twitter, John. I tagged you in the running back room picture. Show the millions and millions of fans, however the way he says it. Andrew Gilmore on the 224. I got one other one I promise first. Then I'm going to you, Andrew, because you donated. Tim, it's been a while, man. What's going on?
How you doing, my friend?
Hey, it's been a while since we've been able to connect. What's on your mind these days?
I got to push back a little bit on you.
Okay.
We usually always 100% on everything. Stop kissing Tommy S's thing and people that don't want to be at Notre Dame. That annoys the hell out of me.
All right. Now, wait a second. So do you blame Tyler Buckner, for example, for being frustrated and wanting to get the hell out of there? Or
No, wait a minute, John. Let's look at this. The end of the degree. Supposedly a smart guy. You love
Yep.
that place. You don't. I get it's a different place. I get it's a total different place. But do you want to win a title? Yes or no?
I would love that very much, to be alive for one of those. Or, well, I was alive in 88, but just too young to know.
Okay, I agree with that. Why not stick that? People are pointing out you're sitting on the bench. I have to guarantee, like we did with Hartman, that he's going to get the starting job down in Bama. Where I'm going to laugh is you realize if he crashes and burns, and Saban's a 70-year-old man, dude. He's collecting a check. I understand what a great coach he is. I get it. He ruined a lot of trips for my dad and I. But come on, he's 70 years old collecting a check.
Yeah,
You think that's a smart move?
dude,
who's running that?
I don't know. Well, here's my issue. My issue is, and it's not an issue because it doesn't affect me anymore. However, my question, I think, isn't Saban exposing himself in the operation when you go this hard into Notre Dame land and then your OC and maybe your quarterback are Notre Dame guys?
All right, I can't say that word. That son of a bitch ruined a lot of trips back in the 90s when he was at Michigan State. But I hope he crashes and burning. I agree. I'm a good Christian. I'm a good Catholic. No, I don't want these people to succeed. I love you to death. I love your show. But no, I'm not going to go root for them.
That's
You
awesome.
lost your fucking mind.
Now, wait. Now, wait. What about, wait.
No.
Wait.
God, I grew up in 1942. My dad graduated. If you wore another school sweatshirt, ass got tossed in the lakes. No.
All
You
right.
don't go root for them. The Christian thing is said, good luck. Go. No. If you love, hey, Reese, if you're not good, you get it done at the school you went to. And by the way, Tommy Reese was a throw-in recruit because the coach was too lazy to recruit.
Man, I love
Are you
this.
freaking kidding me?
I love this. It's like you had it all corked up and now it's just all
Yeah.
coming out now, baby. You're getting it all now. Now, wait, I got to ask you. Wait, but
Because John, I analyze it. They don't care. The liberals, I won't cuss because I won't get you in trouble. They don't care if we win. Why do you think our AD, who, by the way, who lives in Indianapolis and collects his $5 or $6 million a year, is all 68, 69 years old? It's a paycheck. They don't give a damn if we win. They'll sign up and, if we go 10-2, let's look what these schedules become because they have the number one business school. You don't think they've analyzed, all right, how much revenue do we bring in if we play, like you said, 3 years ago when we played UC? Let's look at the revenue and generate this. It's not about ever winning again. They built what they wanted. They don't give a flying blank if we ever freaking win again.
man, that's a dark outlook. Do you really think it's that bad that they don't care? Like, as long as the money's right, they don't really value the wins?
Yeah.
That's tough. That's
And you don't
tough.
want to go political. You don't want to go political on this. Yes, they don't.
That's tough. And,
They don't.
and it's a lot tougher for somebody like me than you, because at least you're in an age group where you remember what it feels like for us to be number one and to be able to walk around town proud of that. I don't know what it's like.
But we were, but the only thing, the thing that scares me, and I got to send you a link to a thing. I missed my best friend from Notre Dame, his son got married in Notre Dame this week. I sent you that text. Is that he did a thing with Freeman. I have to send you the thing on that. Freeman gets it. I think if Freeman was back in the day when Holtz, like right after Holtz, he would win us a title. He would. He's doing that. I agreed with you when you said all the stuff. He's energetic. I knew he would succeed, but he doesn't. The same constraints weren't back then with the freaking NLL, the transfers in. They're not going to relax those tendencies because they got to be uppity, John. You said it, and that's why I fell in love with your show. Is that what built the school? Those arrogant little liberal fucks. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss, but they don't care about them. They don't care about the three core values that with Notre Dame. You'd ask your dad about this. The three things that built Notre Dame were religion, academics, and football. And they don't care about that anymore. So do you honestly think in today's world where you can pay out free cash, you're going to win again?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I hate to think of it that way, but like, there's just a lot of, I don't know, man. It seems to me like a lot of times Notre Dame works against its own best interest in a lot of ways of not realizing they don't realize if the football was elite, it would make everything better. People would donate more money. People would want their kids to go there. Everybody be in a good mood. There's no downside to Notre Dame being elite. Why do I feel like the administration holds them back sometimes?
Because you realize why, John. The difference is that's the other reason we won back then. I didn't even know this. Applied to one of my friends. Back in the day, you just wanted to get into Notre Dame and go. You realize I know you're 1,000 times smarter guy than I am, but here's the point. If you're a top academic student there, they recruit you now. You don't just get in, they recruit you. That's the difference.
Yeah.
So you realize there's a small fraction there that would like to just kind of gradually phase out the sports programs.
Yeah, nope, there is an element of that. I can vouch for that. There are people who work at Notre Dame that resent the attention the football program gets. Like there are high level. No, I mean it. I mean it. There are high ranking people in the Notre Dame administration that I know for a fact they look at it as like they roll their eyes like, oh, they are the football team. They get all this attention. Nothing else would be what it is over there if it wasn't for football. You don't get to turn your back on that now once you've made it in the modern world.
Well,
you don't. You don't.
I agree with you on that, but let's go. I know you don't make the There's the other thing, like the fair thing, and I don't want to go. How does Notre Dame come out and back abortion?
God, dude, don't. We're not going there. Just don't. We're not. I'm not. I love you, but I'm drawing the line. We're not doing that.
I know.
Try and keep the politics out of it.
But Josh, that's what Notre Dame used to be. So in your lifetime, I hope to God I feel sorry for Freeman because my worst nightmare is I hope we win, but everybody says 11-1.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Okay, let's flip this.
You know what my worst nightmare is?
No.
Here's my worst nightmare. My worst nightmare is Freeman tries his best at Notre Dame, learns on the job, but it's very hard and he can't get over the hump. And then an Ohio State job opens and then he leaves, it goes there. They give him what he needs and then he wins there and then we get nothing. That's my fear.
The only thing I will say with Freeman, he buys into Notre Dame a lot, but yeah, how much is he willing to take? I agree. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I hope to God I honestly think if we were 15 years ago, Freeman was the right coach. If we had backed this up when we had to have I have nicknames for him, and one was Daffy Duck, one was the Fat Man, and one was the Savior. I won't use the unpolitically correct term. So I'll just call him a lazy fuck. Go play more golf.
Can I ask you a genuine question of something that
Go ahead.
I don't know what it's like. I mean this. What was it like in '88 when we won the championship? And what does it feel like to be able to walk around town proud wearing your Notre Dame stuff and nobody could say shit to you because we actually won and we were number one and there was no doubting it? I genuinely don't know what it's like to do that. I was 4 years old. What was it like to win and be the best and nobody could talk down to you and you're the best? What does it feel like to be that?
It's that, but you got to realize the perspective. The down period I had, because I went to St. X, he coached at Moeller. We were only down for 5 years. Notre Dame's been, outside of Kellen, that Steve backed into it. Notre Dame's been down for over 30 years. So a down period in my lifetime was 5 years under Faust.
Yeah.
So walking around, I'm a 22-year-old kid that walked out with a degree. You got to realize the perspective where we are in society. You know, like I said, Notre Dame was a dream school. You applied, you got in. They didn't have to freaking recruit you. You got in.
Yeah.
Now it's they want the eggheads. You lived and died if you lost Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Hell, the wedding I missed. I remember I sent you that text. I didn't get to go to that. I don't want to go into that whole story, but the point is, it's not everybody's dream school. Oh, that's nice. Let's just check that off. Come, I know you got to build your product, and I get that. But where I get really annoyed is when you let these clowns in. If it helps your business, I hope it grows. But I don't need to hear from Ohio State. They don't get it. And some of these ND people, I don't understand if you're 20, 30. Do you get the whole history? No, you do not. I'm not saying you don't, because you grew up with parents. But they're, and I get infuriated. The person it relates to is Dr. John. I love him. He gets it.
Yeah.
I mean, God love him.
Yep. It's I don't know, man. The risk is Notre Dame's risking a full generation of people just like my age and younger that don't know what it's like for Notre Dame to win it all. And then the standards drop because you don't know anything else. That's the danger. When you get into a whole generation and a half of people that have never won it like that, that's tough. That's tough. And that's what you're looking at with me and people younger than me. Do you know how many people told me they're 20 years old and they're telling me Kelly's as good as Notre Dame's ever going to do? What do you mean,
No, if
John?
I ever hear
Because they don't know. Not only did they not experience anything else,
lazy liberal.
but what does it matter what his politics are? It doesn't matter to me what his politics are. It matters to me whether you win or lose the games. It matters whether you win or lose the games. I don't care about the politics as much. Win the games. But
he's lazy.
The point is, there's an old generation of people that don't have a bar that's high enough to keep the standards up, and it's just under my age. Like, and that's the rough part.
I ask you a tough question. As I've told you, you got the more inside contacts than I do. Do you honestly think the school kids are damn?
Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, I'm serious. Yes and no. I think it depends who you talk to. Certain people do, and others over there resent football. I'm sorry, but some of them resent football. They just do. I know they do. It's unfortunate.
Well, okay. As I said, they have the #1 business school. You honestly think nobody ran numbers here and said, okay, with Swarbrick, because he's another guy that's ready to retire. If you run the numbers, we downwater our schedule with all the realignments and stuff. We'll see what the TV deal. Okay, I'll give you one that should do it. I know you hate streaming. I don't like it either, but you don't think with all their money, Amazon Prime might throw Notre Dame enough money?
I will absolutely go ballistic, because if you do that, then you're not on TV. Somebody has to go out of their way to be with you. Like it's not on TV then. Then you're off, you're out. You're just out. Nobody could find you. You got to go seek it. That's why I hate this streaming. It's not just there. Like, you're out of sight, out of mind once you make people do that.
Well, they just did. When think about it, a major TV service just went out of business, basically. It's called DirecTV.
I don't know. It's a wild world, man. It's a wild world. What would you like to see happen with the TV deal? That's a good thing to end on. What do you think about that? Where would you like to see them go? Stay with NBC and re-up for a decent deal, or go somewhere else? Shoulder programming? What do you want?
I agree with not NBC, because I agree. They see us like a second child.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
I'd offer it to CBS or go, not greedy, most exposure. I don't know how you package it with Notre Dame. CBS probably. I would go CBS, because if you go back to the old days, they used to have the good intro. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know. You got to analyze that, or go. I don't want stream. That would be bad.
Oh, it'd be real bad.
I mean, ABC's not going to. Oh, well, but here's the other thing. They're losing everything, and I don't want to sign with that evil person either, who might come calling as ESPN. But although they're hemorrhaging money, they've had to do a bunch of layoffs there, so I don't see them giving us a big contract. So, John, which leads me to Notre Dame they did this contract with Peacock. If Notre Dame's about money, I guarantee you they might give it to a streaming service.
Man, I'm telling you,
you are. Say I'm nuts,
but dude, no, that's realistic. But you are, to me, I know I'm like old, almost pushing 40 now. But if you do that, you are out of sight, out of mind. When we have the games on Peacock, our highlights don't appear on ESPN that night on game day final.
John,
like, you're literally out of sight, out of mind. When you do the streaming, you're out there.
Think about it. But in today's world, though, here's the thing. What are you trying to recruit? Today's world is all about streaming. I grew up in the day, and ask your dad about this, Lindsey Nelson. I'm sure you know the name. Well, we advanced a play for 10 minutes into the game. That was the old days in the 70s and 80s. In today's marketing world, that's where everything's going.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro, I don't care what anybody tells me about streaming. I want Channel 5, and I want to know the game's on, and I don't want a thing spinning in a circle. Give me the game on Channel 5, and I almost said something bad. I want the game on Channel 5, and I want to be able to be mad in peace. Just let me be mad at my team. Channel 5, damn it.
But John, I'm trying to be realistic here.
Whatever.
You don't think? I'm not trying to argue against you, but it's just like if you're MD, if they're smart enough. Now, I bet you they probably react. Now, I agree with loyalty. They don't. By the way, why get upset with announcers? Who cares? As long as they don't. I mean, we had to have fucking USC guy and BC guy. If I could stomach that, I don't care who the hell they put in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
You want streaming, but
I don't want the streaming. I don't want the streaming.
You want about streaming, but I'm just trying to be devil's advocate here. If you're Notre Dame in today's world, I don't know how many more years I got, but if you're in today's world, you're sitting down, you have the #1 business school. If they're smart, but I don't think they care, I'm calling, all right, today's media world, where does this market us out?
Yeah, I don't know.
Think about it.
I don't know, but listen, wait. But the Big Ten's supposed to be on the top of all this stuff and everything, and they're not doing the streaming. That, like, I don't know. I just don't want to see it go there.
Well, that's the other thing I do. But if we join the Big Ten, and I don't know if that ever happens, then I hope God calls me home, because those sons of bitches didn't want us. They don't like Catholics. If we go into the Big Ten, I'm done.
Yeah. Hey man, money. It depends on that TV deal. You got to make enough money to be able to compete. They're looking at $90 million a year.
Okay.
$90 million a year.
But then how much more money do they need with Notre Dame? Come on.
I don't know. Kelly. I don't know. Kelly's still trying to get that football building built.
How about we don't sign? How about bad ADs to sign a fat man deal that we just stopped paying about 5 years ago?
Yeah, you know what the funny part of that is? You know what the funny part of that is? Weiss got like a 10-year extension off the Bush push loss. It wasn't even a win. They gave the guy an extension off the loss. They were so impressed with the loss to USC. He got a 10-year extension the next week. It's unbelievable. They were so impressed with the loss. So impressed with that loss.
NFAD, because you can sit there. If you talk to any Notre Dame true fan, I don't want to hear these wannabes. We got the green, grew up, all thing. No, there's one school. You go 1-11. Used to be 1-10 when we played 11 games. You win one damn game, and I don't care. Yeah, I get it, but I'm being hypothetical here. Come on. If you don't know that, you're a moron. You don't get the history. How many times I'd have 10 banners in my basement instead of the 11, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would be expanded. They cost us 5 titles because Parsegan couldn't beat the jackass, couldn't beat him. So, I mean, he cost us a couple where we got a bad call on that. Look at the history of that. USC cost us at least 3. Then it's all decades. Then we went into the 80s where it was Miami, which cost us.
Yeah.
And still Florida State, that's you want to do a show sometime? You should find. You want a great show? You get people that were on that night. I think you have some connections. You put on people like 3 stars off that 93 team. Why we got screwed out because of St. Bobby getting the title. Yeah. It was a joke we didn't get the title.
Yeah.
In 93.
Retirement award. Yeah. The Lifetime Achievement Award, whatever. Yeah. It's.
So let's talk there. But that's a whole different area. We didn't have NOA down there. We didn't have transfer portals. So, I mean, look, but here's the thing. I don't know if you ever saw it, but there was look it up on YouTube. Lou Holtz coached a bowl in China. It was a China Bowl where he brought all the graduates back from Notre Dame, and they played. I think it was China or Japan. I think it was Japan, and they put out what the Notre Dame grads were doing in their life that played football. Let's stack that up against, let's say, the SEC schools. You know, it's the 4 for 44 or 4 for 40.
Yeah.
Let's go see what Mr. Reese does. Really? What has he done at Notre Dame?
I don't know.
No, really?
Wasn't impressive as a quarterback. Wasn't impressive as a quarterback. None of the offenses impressed me. None of the quarterbacks got better, but he's a genius. That's it, man. He's a genius, but he wasn't good as a quarterback. His offenses are nowhere near elite, and none of the quarterbacks get better. They all get worse. But he's elite. He's elite. Pine
But
was
he
his guy.
recruited Tyler
Also
Pine,
Pine.
by the
He
way.
loved Pine. He was a Pine guy. So
And what did he do?
I don't know, but I am told he is a football savant. Football savant.
Yeah, let's see how that.
I'm
let's
told.
see. All right, let me. I know you gotta let me go, but I ask you this question. Because I hate sides both. I always my quote when I hate both things on both sides. Who do you want to see, Alabama or LSU win?
In that game, I will 100% be rooting for Tommy Reese and Buckner to beat Kelly every day.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not doing that. No, I need Kelly to go down.
But I can put a caveat on that. Unless it helps us out.
Okay,
Maybe
yeah.
there's a twist where it would help.
All right,
out.
if that's in play, that's a very good distinction that would alter which direction. But if it doesn't affect Notre Dame big picture, then I hope Tommy Reese hangs 100 on Kelly's swamp ass.
I agree. All right, I got two more questions. I love talking. Two more questions. What's our record and which loss? And well, I like Dr. Jones. I don't stomach any losses, but which one could you tolerate? I'll give you the one I'll tolerate.
Okay,
because I think they might get it.
go ahead.
I'm sorry?
I got them at 10-2, and the loss I'd be able to tolerate out of any of them would be Clemson. Of the big three,
Right.
That's the least hurtful to me is Clemson compared to what the other two mean to me. But I think 10-2 is right in the middle of the high and the low. It's the most reasonable place to land. And I give 10-2 with leeway up or down one, depending on luck, a bounce of a ball, like whatever. So I got 10-2 with the flex to go up to 11-1 or down to 9-3 with reasonable health. I think that's where you're looking.
I agree with that. I'll go if we go to 11-1. I'll give you that because if we go 11, because they're going to want to pay back after we blew them out last year. I agree with you on that. The key is you nailed it. Your shows are great. If Hartman goes down, we're screwed.
Yep. You just gotta cross your fingers and hope, man. And I'd feel so bad for Freeman because it'd just be 2 years of you not being able to run out there what you really want to run out there. That has got to be supremely frustrating. Hopefully he stays healthy. Thanks for calling, Tim. You got everybody worked up, man. You got everybody worked up.
We're due for some breaks, for God's sake.
Tell me about it. Yeah, I know. Everything's kind of gone. Yeah, I know. Luck of the Irish, my ass. Like, we're due for some good luck, my friend.
But you've also made another intelligent point. In all these entities, everybody wants to skip these first three games. Let's back off on that. That little trip to North Carolina State is going to be a little tricky.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's going to be very tricky. And I'm going to give them credit on that one. I'm not even looking for style points or anything in that. You just need to get on with the win. I don't care if it's ugly. I don't care. The biggest priority is being 4-0 when Ohio State comes to town. You cannot afford a loss. Absolutely not. You got to get it done. I don't care about pretty points. 4-0 going into that game is a requirement.
Just win the games because look at 88. Right after we beat Miami, we barely beat Navy. So you need, and let's hope they don't pull anything weird out. Jesus.
Yeah.
That'd be the worst nightmare.
Yeah, I think we're going to be okay there. So I don't know, man, but thanks for calling, Tim. It's been a while.
Good luck. Great show.
Thank you.
Love your passion. I hope I helped your show.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
for putting me on.
Have a good one, man. Take care.
See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
Man, that guy has a lot. He has a lot on his mind. That guy has a lot on his mind. He carries a lot of Notre Dame weight, baby. Erica, she's back from the bar. She made it home. Phil, what did you make her drive home or something? What, Phil? She's here. I'm sorry it took me a while, Eric. I had to let Tim do his thing, but a $5 holler from Erica, I appreciate it. Did you have fun at the bar? When can we tailgate again? Erica, we're thinking about Central Michigan. And it might just be a big, always Irish blowout. Central Michigan, real game, better weather. We'll have warm weather, September, a bigger crowd. So that's what we're thinking about doing. So I would love for you guys to be there. Nothing's finalized yet, but everybody seems to be kind of available. And the momentum is towards that week. And Erica, while you were at the bar earlier 2 hours ago, I was on this live stream giving you credit for the alcohol you brought to the tailgate party. Put it right on the table. 10 a.m., Erica. There's that fireball, baby. I respect the hell out of that. I really do. $5 holler. I'm 40 years old, and I barely remember ND being great year in and year out. I was 11 in 93. Adam, we're phasing out. And if it wasn't for our dads and granddads telling us what it was like when we were actually awesome, I wouldn't know the feeling. All right, last call of the night. 224. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, John? It's Andrew Gilmore. How's it going?
Very well, my friend. We're shooting to all fields here tonight. You never know what you're going to get. What's on your mind?
Well, it's funny. I like disagreed with that last caller on a lot of things, but the reason why I was calling in was like a lot of people are asking you, and then like just like Notre Dame fans in general are asking like what's the record going to be for 23, and I think it really doesn't matter, to be quite honest with you. The reason why I say that is it really comes down to one game, and like the game I'm talking about, Ohio State. Like that, I know you've been talking about how like, hey, let's just get a win against NC State and stuff like that. But like, my feeling is this: if like we're barely beating NC, and that to me tells that we're really like, what was it for? Like maybe people who were in the Buckner camp were right to like support Buckner. Let's do like a long-term solution, versus like what Freeman did. He went out and got the best quarterback on the market. And the idea was we're not going to just like beat NC State. We're going to kick their butt, and then we're going to bring in a quarterback that can actually beat Ohio State. And so like the whole reason for my phone call is that I think the entire season hinges on that Ohio State game, and that's going to make or break our year. Because like if we go in there and we beat Ohio State, I think we have a chance to run the table.
Yeah,
like
good points.
Reimagine.
Really good points. 815, you donated. I didn't get to it yet. You're coming up next. So one more call, 815. I got you. Okay. So with NC State, obviously I would prefer we look really good and beat them by 3 scores or whatever. But my ultimate priority is undefeated going into Ohio State. So like it's a preference that we look good and look sharp and it's not a nail biter and all that. But the absolute bare minimum is you got to be undefeated. So any way you could get that done, as long as you enter that game undefeated, I'm going to be pretty happy. Are there levels to that? Sure. I would prefer to blow out all 4 of those teams leading into Ohio State. In terms of the importance, listen, I got a lifelong axe to grind against USC, and it's never going to go away. And my dead grandpa's freaking skeleton has axes to grind with USC that are never going away. Like, it's that existential. However, that Ohio State game dictates the angle of all of this. Like, that is the arrow. It dictates what's possible. I agree with you. It does. That's the pivot point.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that, and I wanted to talk about USC in a second here, and I'll let you get to your last caller, but
I don't like them playing. I don't like them flipping that entire defense in one offseason through the transfer portal. It seems sneaky to me, like, oh, whatever, USC, and then they 6 or 8 of their new starters on defense just came in there off that portal. It's wild, man.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because there's a couple of guys in the chat that are like clearly USC fans. One is that guy Roger, and then there's, I think, Newt Rockney legitimately just has a fake screen name. He's a USC fan.
That would make a lot of sense, actually.
But honestly, I think that Riley's made a big mistake there. Like, so Riley is clearly always recruited quarterback and wide receiver very well, and there's no doubt about that. Like, he got Malachi Nelson, who was a 5-star last year.
Yeah.
Who some recruiting services said that was better than Arch Manning. So that guy's sitting on the bench behind Caleb Williams, and then there's a lot of people saying that he's in position to sign another 5-star, Dylan Raiola, who's the former Ohio State recruit. Yeah. So, like, he really recruits that really well, and then he recruits wide receiver really well. He's signed a bunch of 5-stars and stuff like that. He's got, like, some that are freshmen right now, and then others that are lined up for next year. But you know what? I don't think that – I think that it's very lazy on his part to be just only working the transfer portal on defense. And so, like, I think that's, like, the one ray of hope. Like, I was going to call in and talk about how USC is very concerning because of how he's a great play caller and he's getting all these really great quarterbacks and wide receivers. But if there's, like, one downfall to his strategy, it's that you have to develop your own talent on defense. I really believe that. Like, you look at national championship teams, Georgia, Alabama, and then I hate to say it, but Michigan, who's made it the last 2 years, they're not living in the transfer portal world.
Yeah,
like,
you know what else?
Hey,
you know what? You'll appreciate. Yeah, you'll appreciate this. I read this somewhere the other day. In the last 2 years or something, 25 Georgia guys have been drafted or whatever, and that's a big number. All but 2 of them were homegrown from Georgia. Those were guys in their program. It's not like that's kind of what you're talking about. Of those 25, only 2 of them came from the outside. The rest were homegrown, good recruits, and they get in there and grow. So I think there's some truth to what you're saying.
Yeah, I just think that that's a ray of positiveness for Notre Dame because okay, so I was going to talk about Ohio State, but since we're going off on the USC tangent here, I want to ask you, John, and I really think this is true. I don't think that ND fans have ever given the respect that is deserved to Lincoln Riley and like how monumental that hire was for USC. It was like no one was predicting that Lincoln Riley was going to go to USC. And then, like, last year, like, it was weird. Like, I was very concerned about the USC game. Like, I was like, this is going to be a really tough game. Like, we deserve to be dogs in that game. And, like, I don't know. I just think, like, Notre Dame fans think Lincoln Riley, they have a shit defense. Like, we should beat them. And it's like, you know what? Honestly, this is a this is a Ohio State, Michigan situation, whereas USC is Ohio State. They are going to have the more talented team, and Notre Dame has to come in there with a great game plan to beat them.
Yeah. And well, and now wait. It did not
work out well for us.
But wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nobody in the Notre Dame fan base is allowed to have that attitude. If you wanted to have it going into last year, fine. But now you lost to the guy, and you're now looking at 0-2. You can't do it. So no Notre Dame fan should be that arrogant to say we got punked and clowned last year in Hollywood to the pretty boy with F Notre Dame on his fingernails. We handed him the Heisman on a silver platter, got out physical on both sides of the ball. No Notre Dame fan should be taking him lightly. That's got to be over.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. And honestly, and so, like, I know you're a huge Marcus Freeman supporter, and I support Marcus Freeman, but I would not have hired him as my coach, but I do support him. But I am a little concerned about how little I hear about USC from Marcus Freeman. The reason why I say that is I know we can all make fun of Urban Meyer these days because of how ridiculous the Jacksonville Jaguars situation turned out, but that dude knew how to coach college football, and he had 3 national championships in a very short amount of time, did a lot of winning at Ohio State. And I think what I respect a lot about Urban Meyer was, like, he talked about one time, I heard a speech where he talked about how when he first took over Ohio State, he knew Alabama was the cream of the crop. And what he would do is he put pictures of Alabama, like all their great wins and all this stuff, all over the facilities at Ohio State, and like just to get them pissed off, like his players, like, yeah, you ain't what these guys are, and like you have to strive to be that. And then it all culminated to when he beat Alabama in the national championship. It was like the whole team was like rabid dogs wanting to beat Alabama in that championship. And I'm like, dude, you know what? And like, and I feel like he had that same mentality for Michigan as well. Like, we're never going to lose to Michigan. You can't lose. And I'm like, Marcus Freeman, like, come on. We have to have that mentality against USC. Like, you need to wake up. Lincoln Riley is trying to like win a national title, or at least get to the Final Four at USC. Wake up. This is the team that you're playing every single year. We have to strategize to beat them. And like I just feel like Harbaugh, even though he lost like the first 6 or 7 times he lost to Ohio State, like he has constructed a team and an identity that he thinks he's figured out how to beat Ohio State. Like, I need Marcus Freeman to wake up and say, you need to freaking construct a team that beats USC, and it ain't going to be some ball control 28-24 game, because it's like, if you look at Ohio State and you look at USC, you look at their losses last year, and then you look at Ohio State's losses from 2 years ago, you have to score, even if you are the most efficient defense in the entire world, you have to score 40 points to beat either one of those teams. So I don't want to see, like, it was an interesting game plan that they had first game against Ohio State last year, because they had to do it. But I think that game plan was about not being embarrassed. We're going to play a close game, and then
hope you can win it, and then hope you're in a position to win it.
I think they were surprised by how close the game was.
Yeah.
But if you're going to actually pull off a win, you've got to score 40 points, and you just go look at their scores. Go look at it. Ohio State gave up 40 points in all the losses that they had, and because you know what happened? Ohio State and USC have such explosive offenses that they're going to get theirs. Even if it's a 1 minute drive, they're going to get it. They're going to score. So you have to put up 40 points. So I really hope, and I think that Marcus Freeman gets it, because like you went out and got Sam Hartman for a reason.
Yeah.
So I think he gets it. But I mean, that's the bottom line. And even USC, like when they lost twice to Utah, and then they lost to Tulane. Go look at those scores. All 3 of those losses was in the 40s.
All right, now wait. Time out, and you'll probably have a thought on this. 815, I got you. You're coming up next. Chill 2177 has joined us, and I'm glad to have him here. And he writes, bro, chill. We had Pine versus USC. Even if I go with that, what about the damn defense? We got bullied around up front by USC all night. It is the number one thing I'm upset about that game. They pushed us around up front. That was supposed to be where Notre Dame held up. They bullied us up front on both sides of the ball last year. That was the worst part. We got pushed around up front, and I didn't think that was going to happen, and it did, and I'm still not over it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think when so there's 2 games I want to talk about: USC, Ohio State. If you're going to get pushed around by USC, you're not going to win the game. That I'll just tell you that right now. I think Ohio State's a little bit different. I think that Ohio State, it's not even really about being pushed around or not. It's about their wide receiver core, because like their wide receivers are so good. It doesn't matter if you have Lawrence Taylor as your defensive end; they're going to get rid of the ball so quickly to their freaking 5-star wide receivers. Is unbelievable. So it's really whether or not their young defensive backfield, which it will be a young defensive backfield for Notre Dame. It's going to be Morrison. It's going to be, I think Christian Gray is going to get a lot of playing time. Hopefully Cam Hart, the senior on the team, can really be up. But it's really, I think that game against Ohio State is, can that defensive backfield hold them down enough to give the offense an opportunity to score some points?
Yeah. Now let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. The roles are flipped this year where Ohio State's coming to our place. They're going to have the younger quarterback. We'll be at home with an experienced guy. So the roles are flipped from what it was last year. Let me ask you this. What are the odds Ryan Day says, I got a young quarterback in a hostile environment. I'm going to try and be conservative and lean on the run game, see what we could do there? Or do you think Ryan Day is going to look at all those wide receivers, look at his young quarterback and go, the hell with it. We're going with our strength and we're going to let it fly? I don't know what he's going to do.
Well, I can just tell you right now, he wants to do that because I think he thinks he's got a good running game. Although they do have some offensive line problems. I mean, for them to be taking a transfer from San Diego State to potentially play tackle is a problem. But
let me ask you this.
He probably wants to do that, but Notre Dame needs to dictate terms, and so it's like Sam Hartman needs to come out and throw some touchdowns early on. I think that Notre Dame dictates terms. Ohio State proved last year that they could win a smash mouth game against Notre Dame. It's like, we need to dictate terms. We need to tell them what we're going to do. You know what I mean? So it's like, if we're coming out, we're putting 21 points on the board in the first quarter. I mean, I realize, people say, oh, you don't want to do a shootout against a shootout team. It's like, no, that's how you beat Ohio State. You have to put points on the board.
Right.
So,
and
then you have to be
from their end, they're going to shoot it out no matter what. So you don't really have a choice.
Yeah, they're going to get there.
Yeah, you don't really have a choice.
So it's like, I get why Freeman did the team he did last year, because he had, there's no way that he wanted to sit on the ball as long as he could. But it only works for 2 quarters. He's Ohio State could have piled on the points against Notre Dame at the end of that game, but they were happy with the outcome, and so they sat on the ball and they won 24-10 or whatever. This is a different game. You've got to come out and score, and you got to score often, and you have to be opportunistic, and that's why it really comes down to that secondary. Can they force a turnover? Can they force a punt when they weren't expecting to punt? I think that's really what it comes down to. I don't think the pass rush or anything. And the hope is that whoever they start at quarterback, like a DJU and not a Trevor Lawrence, you know what I mean? That's what it really comes down to. So but I think USC, on the flip side, you've got to dominate up front. You've got fucking Alt and Fisher. What are they good for if they don't show up in a game like that? You know what I mean? What are you good for?
Let me ask you this. No, wait. Let me ask you this, though.
Yeah.
If I love them, are you concerned at all about the interior offensive line, the middle 3? Are you worried that those guys might be really good and then we get pinched in the middle? Or do you think they'll be able to hold up? It's kind of the key to making the whole offense work. You think they'll hold up in the middle? I like the tackle.
I guess. You know what? I think I played football my entire high school, and my entire life. I played football from 8 years old to 18. But I don't think that the interior linemen really mean that all that much, unless they're just straight garbage. Remember one time when we started a freshman at center, and Alabama was just blitzing us right up the middle. That is really a problem. Don't figure out guard unless you've got an NFL guard who's just freaking amazing. Then those guys can make a difference. But just the adequacy at guard, the whole offense of protection runs from the tackle.
Yeah. Well, and also
protect the quarterback.
Yeah, and also the getting hit from a guy coming off those edges are how quarterbacks get beheaded. There's also that too.
Exactly.
The blind side whole thing. I mean, hell, they made a whole movie about it with Lou Holtz in it, calling it The Blind Side for that exact reason, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's honestly, I think that, and I think Domer Guy 88 is a good chatter in your thing, and then we were kind of sending messages, and I'm like, Alt and Fisher probably are the most important people other than Sam Hartman on this offense, because it's if they don't show up against all, because I promise you, Ohio State's defense is going to be better than they were last year. It's under year 2 under I promise you, the best defensive coordinator in the country. That guy's the real deal. He's not the best recruiter in the country. He's the best schemer in the country. And so that guy is very, very good. He failed first year. So they lost to Michigan, and then they got blown, or they gave up 40 points against Georgia. So, like, I guarantee that the defensive coordinator for Ohio State is feeling a little bit of heat. That guy's not a dummy. He's a good defensive coordinator, did a great job at Oklahoma State. So they're going to be ready to go against Notre Dame. And so it's like those tackles have to step up and not give up sacks, give Hartman time, because we don't have a very experienced wide receiver core that's not going to get open on the first read or whatever. So but it's a big deal, man. Those guys need to step up. If they're really first round talent, they got to step up.
Yep.
Those,
you're right. You're right. And listen, man, you got to understand my struggle between the existential and the most practical. And what I mean by that is when I look at the most existential situation next year for Notre Dame, it's the USC game. But when I look at the practical part of it, Ohio State might be more critical because it comes first of the big three, and it is going to dictate the energy of the whole rest of the season. Does that make sense? Existentially, USC means more. Practically, where this all fits, I get you. Ohio State is that pivot point, man. That is the trajectory arrow. That's it. I agree with you.
Well, here I'll just leave on this that listen, I'm a huge Marcus Freeman supporter. I think he's doing some great stuff in terms of recruiting right now. But I think you and me can both agree that if you really analyze their games last year, I think there's probably maybe 2 or 3 games where they played a solid every quarter was an awesome quarter that they played. So all 4 quarters they played really to their best ability. There were numerous games like you look at Cal, look at Navy. I mean, against really inferior teams, Stanford, like where they did not play a good quarter, like really underwhelming type performances, and you wonder, is it the talent on the field or is it the coaching? And so what I'm thinking is that like the idea that you can't like, oh, we're just gonna barely get by NC State. Like, and NC State's not a loser team. They've got that guy Brandon Armstrong coming in from Virginia, and the reason why he only matters, it's not that he's a great quarterback. He's got his old offensive coordinator that at Virginia, and if you can recall, he threw like a shit ton of touchdowns playing with each other. So that's why they got rid of They got rid of 2 quarterbacks. They got rid of TJ Finley and the guy that went to Kentucky. So I'm just saying that that they've got to put together 4 quarters in a row against a decent game, and got to do that over the course of multiple games to get us fired up about, hey, Marcus Freeman knows what he's doing. So
Yep. Nope. It's just the roadmap is clear. It's just Notre Dame's got to be undefeated against Ohio State. Like that has to be a prerequisite to talk about anything else. Like it just has to be. I want it to be a pretty 4-0, but at a minimum, it has to be an ugly 4-0. It has to be 4-0 going into that game. It has to be.
Well, hey, thanks for taking my call. You have a great show. And
hey, listen, really good call.
I'm shocked that Uncle Luke is such a wuss.
I know. They don't want to call. They want to type. They want to type on the keyboard, but they don't want to call Johnny up. I don't know, man. But listen.
Yeah, I wish somebody would really call in and be like a jerk and mix it up with you a little bit.
I know.
I think Uncle Luke is actually a Notre Dame fan. I think that Newt Rockne is clearly just a fake screen name for somebody who's like a USC fan.
Dude,
so,
it
would be interesting if a USC fan called in and
that is a lot of time.
Like,
but those guys are on every morning show I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 2 hours. They're there. How could you hate Notre Dame and be there all that time? Like, I think they like Notre Dame, but they're so jaded that they're just negative on everything. I don't know. But Andrew, I got to tell you, you're a good caller. The chats, other people have mentioned to me that you have really good thoughts. So I just wanted to let you know I appreciate you, and everybody really likes when you jump in.
Well, thanks, John. You have the great show, man. So keep it up. And I mean, come on, don't aim so low on NC State. I want to blow out.
There,
hey, so.
All right. I raised the standards, but thank you very much, everybody. You add a lot to the show every day. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Have a good one. Yeah, that guy, man, Andrew. I've had multiple people tell me that guy impresses them with the things he puts in the chat. Really thinks it all out. 815. I'm sorry I made you wait.
No, you're good, man. You're good. Really quick, wanted to shout you out because you're one of the reasons why I started doing YouTube podcasting myself. So I wanted to shout you out because you're an inspiration, not just to listen to, but also follow as you've grown on this YouTube thing.
Hey, you know what, man?
Thank you for that.
I appreciate that. And here's the other thing I'll offer you. When I first started doing YouTube, there were a couple people further down the road than me that I could lean on, ask questions. How do you do this? How should I do that? What's the best way to do this? Anything I could do for you, I will gladly pay that forward. There were nice people to me that helped me get going and avoid some pitfalls or whatever. If I could do that for you, let me know. Thank you very much.
Well, I definitely appreciate it, man. I mean, if you ever want to tune in, it's Week Zero Productions on YouTube. We go live every Friday. So it's a lot of fun. We got a Notre Dame fan, Oregon fan, Virginia Tech fan, and Kentucky fan. So, it's a lot of fun. You get a lot of different standpoints on it, not just from, Notre Dame standpoint, but, SEC, ACC, and Pac-12. So it's definitely interesting. But, if you could hop in one time, just say hello, that would be enough, man. I definitely appreciate that. But really quick, I wanted to because I greatly disagree with the caller ahead about USC. Not that I don't respect USC. I obviously respect them. They're a rival for a reason. But I've seen a lot of Notre Dame fans that almost are, I wouldn't say terrified, but maybe a little scared of USC after one season of losing to them when we dominated them for a long stretch. I mean, I look at USC like this, and it's kind of the way I looked at Oklahoma when Lincoln Riley was at Oklahoma. All the flash, all the receivers, all the quarterbacks. No defense and chokes in big games.
Well, then why the hell did we lose to him last year? What are you doing to me? Why did we lose to him last year then? What is wrong with us if that's the deal? Why did we lose?
I'll give you the 3 reasons why we lost. For one, we had Drew Pine as our quarterback.
That's not a good start. Yeah, that's a good number 1. I'll acknowledge that. That's a hell of a good start to your damn list. That's a real good start to the list. I'll give you that. I'll give you that one. That isn't a good start. You're 1 for 1. Keep going.
So Drew Pine is our quarterback. Number 2, we had 2 turnovers. We were -2 in the turnover margin that game. Those 2 turnovers led to 2 USC touchdowns. That was the difference in the game if you look at the scoreboard. So that's 14 points that if you don't turn the ball over, we're not saying we score, but USC doesn't get 2 more opportunities.
Yeah.
The third is, people, I don't like to blame refs.
I knew it. They didn't call holding 86 times that night. They knew. Listen to me. No. You're the last caller of the night. You're going to hear this damn rant right damn now, okay? I'm convinced of this shit. Listen, I am convinced. The whole TV production, the whole thing, they wanted that USC guy to have the Heisman, and they were going to make sure he got the Heisman that night no matter what. And they kept the flags in their pocket, and they let him run around and do whatever, just enough to get that Heisman. I'm telling you, they didn't call 12 holding calls that were obvious. Bullshit.
I mean, I was watching that game, and I could probably point out at least 7 times, and that's being generous, where Foskey absolutely dominated the edge and had an offensive lineman just flat out tackle him.
All right. Now, can I question? Now, wait. I'm gonna question myself. Look at that. What a good, fair host I am. I said something. Now I'm gonna question my own theory here. Yes, it is true. They did not call 10 holding penalties they should have called. However, that does not make it okay that they were running the ball up our ass the whole second half. First down, 6 yards. And now you're putting Williams up in 2nd and 4. He could do whatever he wants to do then. We got gutted up front that night. As mad as I am about the refereeing deal, we got pushed around up front by USC. And going into that game, I was saying that's the area where Notre Dame could be better than them. It ain't quarterback, but if you're more physical up front, you can make up. We didn't do it. They bullied us around, and I'm still not over it. I'm not over it.
That's the reason.
It still pisses me off.
That's
Fowler in the booth. He couldn't even contain himself. Fowler in the booth. I mean, he was so excited. He was ready to go. I'm telling all of it rubbed me the wrong way. You don't get to go 0-2, Marcus. I love you, Marcus, but you don't get to go 0-2 against USC.
Oh, no. That and that's the thing. That's why I had that so low on the list, because in terms of things that cost us that game, that was the least out of the first two I mentioned. But the point with that also is, like, you go and you watch them the next week against Utah, and I believe they broke the Pac-12 title record for the most holding calls in a Pac-12 title game. And I'm
telling you, dude, Utah played the exact game Notre Dame needed to play against USC twice last year. Not once, twice. They literally had the blueprint of the game I imagine Notre Dame having to play to beat USC. They did it twice, and we couldn't do it once. And then we tried to go get their offensive coordinator. We couldn't do that either, but that's a story for a different night. We're not going into that one right now, but it just makes me mad. It just makes me mad.
No, you know what? And it makes me more mad because I genuinely do think this could you could disagree with me on this or not, but I genuinely think if we had Tyler that played in that Gator Bowl against USC, I think that game turns out completely different.
Yeah, and we're never gonna know. Like, we're never gonna know. I don't know. I just I don't know, man. USC's a big deal to me.
I also wanted to say, because I disagree with the caller before me as well about another thing. I think he said that Ohio State was one of the most worrisome teams on our schedule. I think I agree with that, but I don't think, I'm being honest right now. I was going through it, and this is post spring, so this how I felt about before Ohio State before spring ball is a lot different than how I feel about them now. My confidence level about beating Ohio State went from a 55-45 Notre Dame advantage to a 60-40. Now, that's not very much, but after seeing, their quarterback, I understand it's spring ball and can't take too much in it, but I don't know if you got a chance to watch their quarterback that, Ohio State fans still think is already a top 5 quarterback in college football.
Yeah, I saw a little bit.
He ended his spring game with 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, didn't even throw for 100 yards. I mean, is that really the guy you're throwing out against Notre Dame week 4?
Yeah.
Or week 5?
Hey, here's the thing though. I just know it's a really solid program, and I know how much talent's there, and I can't overlook that. Like, I can't. They're in the top 5 recruiting rankings every year. No matter what, I'm not going to take that lightly. But it's the pivot point of all pivot points of the arrow of where this is all going to go. It's going to be a big night in South Bend, man. Big night.
Oh, and you know what? I'm going to, I don't know if you're going to be there, but I actually just bought me and my boys over at the Week Zero podcast and Week Zero Productions. We're going to be doing a live podcast from South Bend. We're actually going to the Notre Dame Ohio State game. and we're going to the Notre Dame USC game as well. So I'm excited. I'm really hoping I didn't pay all that money for us to go lose to Ohio State.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sitting right on the 50-yard line, so I'll be really mad about that. But I don't know about you, John, but I mean, I was doing my record predictions for Notre Dame, just kind of going like ceiling, what I think our floor is. And I was saying I think our floor is 10-2, and I think our ceiling is 12-0. My overall prediction, I think this team goes 11-1.
Yeah,
I
and
think
you're in that
lose-
ballpark. You're in that ballpark. If I had to pick based on that schedule, I said 10-2. Wait, reasonable health. We got to assume reasonable health. I have 10-2 with the flex up or down a game depending on luck or like a little thing here or there, up or down. But I got 10-2 as most likely flexing one up or one down either way depending on circumstances, which is a boring answer because it's pretty realistic to me. Like, I think that's a boring ass answer. It's right in the middle, right?
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you what, I'll even do you one better because I went and I broke down score predictions for each game. So, and these are the big three. So for Ohio State, I have us winning 38-31. I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Sam Hartman's the difference. I think, like the caller said before, Ohio State's defense is going to be much improved. They're not going to get 50 points dropped on them like Michigan did to them last year.
Yeah.
So I think that's how that game goes. I think the USC game, I don't think you're going to like this score because I think and I don't think Notre Dame fans will like this score because it might give us all heart attacks. But I had Notre Dame winning 52-49.
Wait, hey, I don't care. I don't give a shit what score you say. If it started with Notre Dame winning, it could be 99-98. It could be 2-0. As long as they win, it ain't going to bother me. It could be 75-74. I don't care. Give me that win at home, man. Marcus, I'm so loyal to Marcus. I love the kind of guy he is, but you don't get to go 0-2 against USC, buddy. Like, I love you, but you don't get to do that. Nobody that coaches at Notre Dame gets to do that. It's a bad, bad way to start your tenure. You can't start out 0-2 against them.
Yeah, that's why, and my score prediction, the whole mindset was behind that was, like caller said before, you're not going to stop USC.
Wait, give me that score again. Wait, give me that final 52 for Notre Dame.
52-49.
I'm just saying.
Notre Dame wins.
Hey, I'm just impressed that Notre Dame offense could score 52 points and it's not 5 weeks added together. You know what I mean?
I think the reasoning behind the 52 is, like I said, I don't think you're going to be able to stop USC on offense. I think you can limit them.
Yeah.
But like the caller said, they're going to get theirs. No matter what you do, they're going to get theirs. So the concept behind Notre Dame dropping 52 is USC's defense is probably always going to be their weakness in terms of under Lincoln Riley. So, because we've seen no evidence that a Lincoln Riley-led team will have a good defense. And I think it's also the combination of having Sam Hartman.
Yeah.
I think Sam Hartman might be the best quarterback Notre Dame has had since Brady Quinn.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's hard to
really hard to say.
It's hard to argue that. Yeah, that makes sense. Changes things a lot.
So I think that Hartman might drop 5 touchdown passes on USC. That very easily could happen.
Wait, you're not worried about that revamped portal defense? They're going to have 6 new starters all off the portal coming in there? I'm dead serious. I ain't laughing. It pisses me off.
They scare me a lot.
It just pisses me off that they get to just go and discount shop and go grab guys from all over. It's a new look defense. I think I read 6 of their defensive starters will be from the portal. I don't like it.
Hey, man, it's that USC money. It's that USC money. That's what it is.
Dude, that's Hollywood money, baby. You know what it is. It's Hollywood dough. It's all for show. It's all bullshit. It's all a facade. It's all everything about USC is just fake. The fans are fake. They're hanging 10 with their surfboards the last damn decade. None of them gave a shit. Notre Dame shows up and they're all there acting like they care. It's just all fake. I want California to break off and dissolve into the Pacific Ocean, never to be seen again. That's what I want to happen.
I mean, can we also talk about the fact that USC fans almost didn't exist since 2005, and now that they have
they're the
Caleb Williams and
fakest.
Lincoln Riley.
There's no faker fan base in America. There isn't. They're hanging 10. They don't give a shit. And then they're good. And then they all show up. Snoop's on the sideline, rolling doobie snacks, whatever. Will Ferrell's there making jokes. It's all a big show. It's all Hollywood bullshit. It's all fake. Nothing is legitimate. None of it means what you think it means. It is competing existences in the world, the way Notre Dame people want to live and the way USC people live. And it is a big priority to me that ours prevails. That is my final statement of the night. I love it. That's it. I'm done. That's it. That's it.
I mean, so going down the list, like the game that I think Notre Dame loses, and it's not because I don't think Notre Dame's a better team, but I'm thinking of where it's going to be. And from stuff I've seen, it's looking like that Clemson game is going to be a night game at Clemson. And like whether we like it or not, I think Notre Dame is a significantly better program right now than Clemson. They have a better team, in my opinion. I'm not too bought into this Cade Klubnik, he's our savior thing that Clemson fans are putting out there.
It's still going to be a tough night. Death Valley at night, November. Yep. That's going to be a tough damn night. Yep.
Well, so I think that game is where it's just not because Notre Dame's not the better team. It's the timing of it, where it's in the schedule. You're coming off an emotional, if you beat USC, you're coming off an emotional win against USC. This is 2 weeks later, and you're probably, I think Pitt's in between there as well. And so I think that game could kind of catch Notre Dame just because how tough their schedule is later in the year, whether there be injuries or not, you're going to be beat up.
Yeah.
And it's night game at Clemson.
Yeah.
So I think that's where they slip up.
And the other thing is,
go ahead.
Clemson's getting the least amount of attention right now of the big three. And I get why, because of the personal existential 100-year vendetta we all have with USC. We're inextricably tied to them forever. And then Ohio State is Ohio State, and it's the first one on the schedule. I get why Clemson's getting kicked down the road. But if we're both in playoff position, that game's going to be huge. If we both have 0-1 loss, that game's going to be huge. Especially since
if you look at Clemson's schedule, they already play Florida State, North Carolina before Notre Dame. And those, if you're looking at the ACC as a whole, those are the two teams that are vying for that AFC Conference Championship spot. So Clemson could very easily be playing for their ACC Conference lives at that point.
Yeah.
So I think that's just a very dangerous part of the schedule. And like I said, Notre Dame, if they already beat, if you're talking about they already beat Ohio State and they already beat USC, I mean, they might look at it like, we're not as desperate as Clemson. I would hope they wouldn't think that way. But like I said, you're probably going to be beat up towards the end of the year at Clemson on the road at night. Just too many factors, I think, going your way. And I think Notre Dame still competes. I think Clemson wins that game 31-28. I think they win it with like a last-second field goal. Maybe they get a stop on defense. So that's where I'm at with that. I mean, what do you think so far? I mean, do you think 11 okay, let me ask you this, John, because I've been asking Notre Dame fans this. What is your must-have for this team to accomplish for the season to be successful? Is it New Year's 6? Is it
no? Yeah, you gotta win. I think winning a New Year's 6 game would be a solid, really big jump forward. I want to make the playoff and all that, but this roster's still limited to me in a lot of ways. I think it's limited. If you could get into a New Year's 6 and win it, that would be the next best thing of making a playoff game. I need to see more to believe we could hang in the playoff. But if you won a New Year's Six, think about it. It'd be the biggest bowl game we won since you and I were little kids. I know that. Like it'd be that at least.
Yeah, I mean, and I would love to see that just so we don't have to hear Notre Dame haters say, well, you guys haven't won a New Year's Six since 98 or 96. I mean, it's like, I hate that in any argument. It doesn't matter. It could be, Illinois fans, for God's sake, who haven't won a darn thing.
Yeah.
And they'll say, oh, well, you guys haven't won a New Year's Six.
Yeah.
That monkey off our back.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I think if you could get the big bowl game monkey off your back and at least eliminate that talking point, that would be progress. And then the next year you're entering the new playoff format and it's like a whole new world. That would be a really good way to go into that. You knock off that big bowl game loss streak, kill that so nobody can bring it up again. And then you're trending up into the new playoff format. That'd be a good, if you're not going to make the playoff, that would be the next best thing. That's what I'll say.
Okay. And this will be my last thing, let you get out of here. So I also did my playoff prediction, my way too early one for next year. And so this is what I have so far, and this is ranked in order. I got number 1. I think Tennessee comes out of the SEC. That might be a shocker. I'm actually really high on Tennessee.
Yeah.
I think they go 13-0 or 12-1 and win the SEC. I think the question marks surrounding Georgia and Alabama right now, and what they're going to do at the quarterback position, is something I'd have to wait and see. Tennessee is the only team in the SEC besides LSU that has most of their starters returning. So I think I like Tennessee a lot. Number 2, I've got Michigan, scum as we like to call them.
Yep.
I hate to say it, but I don't think really anybody in the Big Ten outside of Ohio State and Penn State can really beat them. I'm looking at their schedule.
Yeah, I agree too. And well, shit, they don't play anybody till Penn State November 11th. They play all high schools. Literally, I know their schedule because I hate them so much. I know that shit. They play all high schools. Dude, they do. They play all high schools until November. I think it's November 11th, Penn State. So they got an easy window.
Yep. So I think they're in that 2 spot. Number 3, I have Oregon. I think Bo Nix would have, been in the Heisman talk if he would have stayed healthy last year. Oregon, to me, was maybe the best team in the Pac-12. They beat Utah head-to-head at Utah. They just didn't get a chance to play in that Pac-12 title because they struggled down the stretch with an injured Bo Nix. So I think them as the Pac-12 chances at 3, and then I got Notre Dame at 4. Going 11-1, so that's a 1-4 matchup with Notre Dame, Tennessee, and Michigan and Oregon at the 2-3. What are your thoughts on that?
Wow, I'll be honest. I don't believe Notre Dame's roster is robust enough that I even considered playoff. I'll be honest with you. I think the offense is going to take a big jump, but I am worried that defense is going to do just enough on the downside to keep them out, even if Hartman's good. So that's how I fell at around 10-2 with leeway up 1 or down 1, 11-1, 9-3, just outside the playoff window.
Okay.
I'm nervous about that defense, dude. I need to see them hold up against the run, against some big, good team. Like, I just have certain things I'm nervous about. So I would fall 10-2, leeway up 1, down 1. But playoff, you want to talk about playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
See, that's the thing, is it like, do you think an 11-1 Notre Dame team with one of those losses coming to Ohio State,
the big 3,
or
USC? All right.
Do
Here's what I've said.
Do you think they leave them out?
Here's what I've been on record saying all these years. I've been on record saying 11-1 Notre Dame, I'm counting as out until they're in, because they've been 11-1 and not made it. So I've been saying 11-1 Notre Dame's out. However, none of the other 11-1s are going to have this schedule. So I think that does help because the other 11-1s, you didn't have anything to lean on that I think this schedule could provide. So there may be a lane there, but you know how this goes. It depends on what happens with everything else and everything turning right?
Yeah, I mean, depending on what you're looking at, you could be looking at Notre Dame having played the Big Ten champion, the Pac-12 champion, and the ACC.
Yeah. You want to talk about Notre Dame don't play nobody. Yeah, right. Notre Dame doesn't play anybody. You're right. You know what? I hope that happens. Even if we lose one of those games, I hope it happens so we can at least say we're playing all these good teams. Really good call, man. I appreciate it. Where are you? Bourbonnais? Wait, where the hell are you? Bourbonnais, Kankakee, what's the 815?
Yeah, I'm originally from Bourbonnais. I live in I live south now. I'm in the Peoria area now. But I kept my 815 area code. So, but I'm mainly from Bourbonnais.
Gotcha.
That's where I played high school football. So.
I think I told you. I mean, I'm a Bishop Mac guy, so that should tell you where I'm from.
Yeah, I can't. We always call you guys the ones that are too scared to play us in football.
Yeah. Hey, Southside Chicago Catholic League, baby. That's us. Really good call. Thank you very much for the energy. I will check out your show. Reach out to me if you're on Twitter, whatever. I'll hop on sometime. Thank you.
Okay, for sure. I'll just so you're on the lookout. It's at the Week Zero podcast. So I'll message you sometime this week, and we'll definitely set that up, man. I definitely appreciate it. Like I said, you're one of the reasons I started this thing. So thanks for that. I don't think you realize sometimes how much you actually help people, and you're an inspiration to a lot of people. And sometimes I think you don't realize that, but you really do. And I want you to know that.
Hey, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that a lot. That means a lot to me. Thank you very much. What a great way to end the night. Thank you. I mean that.
Well, thanks, man. And like I said, I'll try to call on as much as I can, but a lot of the times it'll be the night show because I've got a 4-year-old running around, so it's always doing something.
Yeah,
so,
yep. No,
yeah, appreciate for letting me call. And
hit me up whenever you can, man. And if you're ever back in Bourbonnais visiting home, let me know. We'll go hang out at TJ's or something.
All right, for sure, man. I'll definitely let you know, and maybe we could go get a drink or something.
Yep, beautiful. I'd love it. Have a good night, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
Thanks.
Yep. Bye.
All right, folks. This podcast has now gone 3 hours and 11 minutes. We're going to call it a night. There's still callers on the line. I'm just telling you guys, almost 3.5 hours. We're maxed out here. So that's going to be it for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for donating, everybody for chatting, everybody for calling, all of that. I really, really appreciate it. These are fun. They have a different energy. You get a different crowd. Adam, shut up. I know you're drinking. Adam's texting me. He's prank calling me on the line. Adam, you're giving me all this shit, man. You're messing with me. He's texting me on my cell phone connected to this line, pranking me on the call-in log screen. You guys see this screen? He's pranking me on the screen. Adam, you're giving me a hard time. Come on. Thanks everybody for being here. This was a good time as always. I'll talk to you guys. When will it be? I got a video dropping tomorrow, and then Monday morning we'll see you. Have a good one.